company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Stylin'. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Guys, thinking about testosterone replacement therapy? Revive Men's Health can help you get started if you're ready to book your free T-check. Visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. That's Revive, REVIBE, menshealth.com.
Carter Subaru wants to buy your car. Carter Subaru will buy your vehicle for top dollar, even if you're not in the market for a new one. And when you are ready to buy a new vehicle, your drive begins with savings at Carter Subaru. Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. The FAA says there was an outage at the facility that runs traffic in and out of Newark Airport, darkening radar screens for 90 seconds just before 4 a.m. It's the second time it's happened in a couple of weeks. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells CBS News fixing the problems at Newark's a top priority.
Listen, we're in a situation where, it's going to take us a little bit of time. I hope by the summer we're going to be fully functioning.
And in San Francisco, a computer glitch fouled the morning commute for people using the Bay Area Rapid Transit System. BART spokeswoman Alicia Trost.
We're making system-wide announcements saying that the East Bay stations have been authorized to fully open because we'll have limited train service.
We're hearing from some members of the College of Cardinals a day after their vote to pick the first American Pope, Leo XIV. Cardinal Blaise Supich.
I felt comfortable saying to Pope Leo, from one South Sider of Chicago to another, I promise you my respect, my fidelity, and my love.
The Supreme Court says retired Justice David Souter died yesterday at 85. CBS's Jan Crawford reports Souter, who was backed by Republicans, turned out not to be conservative.
He became one of the most liberal justices, a predictable vote with the left on issues like abortion, religion, affirmative action, gay rights, on and on and on. Every issue that was important to conservatives, he sided with the liberals.
Now to Moscow, CBS's Elizabeth Palmer was there as Russia marked the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II with a huge military parade.
Very grand and lavish military parade to celebrate a great Russian victory 80 years ago in World War II when the Russian army defeated the Nazis and took Berlin. But on another level, it's political messaging. It's political theater. It sends a message to the world that Russia still is a great superpower, a nuclear-equipped superpower.
More trouble between the U.S. and Denmark over Greenland, as we hear from CBS's Elaine Cobb.
After newspaper reports suggested the U.S. had stepped up intelligence gathering in Greenland, Denmark's Prime Minister has said you cannot spy against an ally. It's the latest in a continuing spat over President Trump's announcement he would like to annex the mineral-rich Arctic island. Both Denmark and Greenland have said it's not for sale and warned against using force.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 49 points. The S&P is up 4 points. NASDAQ is trading higher, up 16. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A shakeup at Outdoor Co-op REI. The story coming up at first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Everett, a crash is blocking a lane on US 2 westbound near I-5. It does not appear to be affecting traffic, but further east on US 2, State Route 204 is backed up southbound to 81st Avenue Northeast. In Seattle, a crash is blocking the I-5 southbound off-ramp to South Aldborough Place. Not really affecting travel times. Everett to Seattle, half an hour. Federal Way to Seattle, 37 minutes, both about what we'd expect. Renton to Bellevue is a few minutes longer than typical at 30. Traffic brought to you by D.R. Horton. The D.R. Horton National Red Tag Sales Event has been extended. America's Builder, drhorton.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. An armed and dangerous man is on the run in Thurston County. More from KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomi-Bow.
It's been an active search for 27-year-old Damian Madison after police say a pursuit from Grays Harbor to Thurston County turned violent on Thursday.
Began throwing things at our deputy and the K-9 unit, and then at one point in time began shooting at them with an AR-15.
Sheriff Derek Sanders says Madison fired at least 3 shots from a car before they say he was dropped off on Waldrick Road and then ran into the woods. The driver of his car was arrested.
Deliberations will resume Monday in Christian Sayer's 4th trial. The former owner of the Anchor Pub in Everett is charged with drugging and assaulting women. The Everett Herald was in court when the judge sent jurors home for the weekend yesterday after deliberating for a couple of hours. State troopers say they arrested 2 brothers who led them on separate pursuits on I-90 near Preston this week.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car right now!
Troopers say when they tried to pull over a car for a traffic violation, the driver took off. As they pursued it, dash cam video shows a silver Infiniti getting between the vehicle and the patrol car. Troopers bumped that first car in a pit maneuver, but it keeps going, losing a tire.
It's spinning out. It's in the ditch. Go, go, go.
It stops and troopers arrest the 21-year-old driver. Meantime, troopers spot the Infiniti, and when it stops, they arrest a passenger and the Infiniti driver, who turns out to be the 21-year-old's 18-year-old brother.
They're taking both into custody right now.
Shake-up at REI. Members of the outdoor Kent-based co-op have blocked 3 candidates from its board of directors. Members tell the Seattle Times they want the co-op to return to its values. REI recently received backlash for signing onto a letter that endorsed President Trump's pick for Secretary of the Interior. The company later retracted it and apologized. The main road to the Hoh Rainforest has officially reopened after being closed for several months because of storm damage. This nearby restaurant owner tells KIRO 7 TV the road is a vital link to tourists.
It's a monetary value, and not only to our business, but to the whole community, because they stop at the grocery store, the gas stations. It affects every business in town.
The state, with the help of donors, stepped in to pay for the repairs when it became uncertain that the federal government would do that. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 70. It is 52 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
It is a fresh Friday. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. Angela Poe Russell is in. Good morning.
Good morning, Ursula. I am so delighted to be here with you.
I am thrilled to be able to work with you today. And it is going to be a very special day. And I'll tell you why. Because all you even know that it is going to be Mother's Day on Sunday. And in case you're just finding that out, you've still got a little time to do something special for Mom. But we're going to make it easy for you to do something special for Mom, because we are going to celebrate Mother's Day today on the Gee and Ursula Show. And so at 10 o'clock, we're going to be taking your phone calls. And the number that you are going to dial is the same number that you use for our text line, 888-973-5476. That is 888-973-5476. And our question for you is going to be, what favorite memories do you share with your mom? Or maybe you can even talk about what is the best piece of advice that your mom ever gave you. Or what is something that you do today in honor of your mom or because of the influence that your mom had or a mom figure?
Those are great questions.
I love it. And because my mom is no longer here, this is going to be a very special time for us to share, some of my favorite memories of my mom as well. But again, that number is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. And now let's get to it. Top stories at 9, brought to you by Bathfitter Northwest. As the world is celebrating Pope Leo XIV, the first U.S. pontiff, there are also questions about where the 69-year-old from Chicago stands on some specific issues. He is generally considered a centrist in the Catholic Church, and that is very different from Pope Francis, who was regarded as a progressive. And our producer, Chef, did some digging around and found a video posted by the Catholic News Service back in 2012. And then Father Robert Prevost condemned what he called the homosexual lifestyle and the redefinition of marriage, saying it is at odds with the gospel. And he blamed mass media for making Catholic pastors seem cruel.
The sympathy for anti-Christian lifestyle choices that mass media fosters is so brilliantly and artfully ingrained in the viewing public that when people hear the Christian message, it often inevitably seems ideological and emotionally cruel by contrast to the ostensible humaneness of the anti-Christian perspective.
And in this video, he shows clips from 2 U.S. sitcoms that feature same-sex couples, Modern Family and The New Normal, and he calls for new efforts to counter these mass media-produced distortions of religious and ethical reality.
Catholic pastors who preach against the legalization of abortion or the redefinition of marriage are portrayed as being ideologically driven, severe, and uncaring, not because of anything they say or do, but because their audiences contrast their message with the sympathetic, caring tones of media-produced images of human beings who, because they are caught in morally complex life situations, opt for choices that are made to appear as healthful and good. Note, for example, how alternative families comprised of same-sex partners and their adopted children are so benignly and sympathetically portrayed in television programs and cinema today.
So, Angela, again, this video is from 13 years ago, and the question would be, has his position changed at all? Now, it's important to note that just last October, he voiced the need for more open conversations between each Episcopal conference to discuss the blessings of same-sex couples and to apply them in a way that works and aligns with cultural differences around the globe.
And I also want to add that we did go through great lengths to verify, like, this is an authentic video. In this day and age, we always have to take that extra step. That's something we value here at KIRO Radio. When you think about how much has changed in the last 13 years, I mean, gay marriage just became legal, was it 2011? I mean, we have come a long way from stories with LGBTQ people not being featured in television, movies, to now it is a lot more common, whether you agree or not. So I think the question here is, has he evolved? And because so many people have, from government, those in the religious sector. But here's my bigger question. Let's say he hasn't. Are we really surprised? And if you're Catholic, how much of a problem do you have with it? I am still seething over Kennedy Catholic High School saying, you know what, we don't support gay marriage, and if that's you, your teachers can't work here. I personally have a problem with that, but I'm not Catholic, and that's their choice. So I think there is this tension, I have to imagine, because I do have a large segment of my family, they are Catholic, or they wrestle with, I really value my faith, but I don't agree with these things, and I can hold both of them and still be a good Catholic.
Yes, and I fall into the latter category. I mean, I am a Catholic, not in that I go to church every Sunday, but I was raised Catholic. My kids went to Catholic school, K through 12, and to this day, I give monthly to the Catholic Church. That said, I have huge disagreements with the Catholic Church, and I take what I like about it. All their work that they do for charity.
Yes,
and
I love that.
Working with for the oppressed and the poor, and I think that my hope is that this new pope has changed his position, at least moved. And I think that there are signs that he has. And I just want to mention, this is what he said when he was introduced to the world yesterday on the balcony. This is what Pope Leo said.
Dio vi ama tutti. God loves everyone. Il male non prevarrà. Evil will not prevail. Tutti nelle mani di Dio. We are all in the hands of God. Pertanto, senza paura. So without fear. Uniti. United, mano nella mano con Dio, hand in hand, tra di noi, with God and among ourselves, avanti. We go forward.
So the reality is Pope Leo is going to be serving more than 1 billion Catholics around the world. And the fact is there are parts of the world where they still criminalize homosexuality. Mm-hmm. So he represents the entire world, not just how we believe in a certain segment of the population, a growing segment of the population, you and I included.
Oh, yeah.
So my hope, though, is that he follows in the footsteps of Pope Francis, who really had done more than any other pope had done in terms of accepting the LGBTQ community. Not going all the way, but basically saying things like he supported civil union laws for same-sex couples. He said that homosexuals have a right to be a part of the family. He says they're children of God. They have a right to a family. Nobody should be thrown out or be made miserable because of it. He also famously said, if a person is gay and seeks God and has goodwill, who am I to judge? Those were huge things.
Absolutely. And I guess I go back to where I began, is I think it's as people... we learned who the new pope is, and everyone wants to know his background. Yes. I was Googling.
I was Googling too.
Yeah, you want to know more about him. So this is information. This is where he was. But God forbid I'm judged on my thoughts and views from 12 years ago. There's a little bit of a difference in that he is a leader, but leaders evolve. Good ones do.
Well, look at this. I mean, remember former President Barack Obama and what Joe Biden also said about gay marriage?
Define marriage. I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman.
Let's try to avoid nuance, Senator.
Do you
support gay marriage?
No. Barack Obama nor I support redefining from a civil side what constitutes marriage. We do not support that.
And that was in 2008, and obviously a whole lot of stuff has changed, for sure. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office is searching for a dangerous convicted felon who allegedly shot at a deputy with an AR-15 during a chase. The deputy spotted 27-year-old Damian Madison and pulled over the SUV that he was a passenger in, but the driver of that SUV sped away, leading deputies on this chase. He eventually, Madison that is, eventually fired an AR-15, hitting one of the patrol cars several times. He was last seen near the Chehalis Western Trail, and Sheriff Derek Sanders tells KIRO 7 TV he may have run into the woods nearby.
Has a history of stealing cars after fleeing from stolen cars, so there's a decent chance he's already stolen a car and left the area. He's also a prolific burglar, so there's a decent chance that he is in someone's shed, barn, house, who maybe not occupied.
And Sheriff Sanders is extremely frustrated. He says this is at least the third time in just 6 months that this guy has led officers on a chase.
The last time I talked about him, I actually specifically stated that if the judges don't start taking this seriously, that someone's going to get hurt or killed. And here we are, shooting at the police. So maybe they'll take it more serious this time, but I'm not confident.
Now, Madison has multiple felony warrants. He also has previous felony convictions. He is considered armed and dangerous, and the police are saying if you see him, do not approach him. Call 911 right away.
Boy, when are we going to get it? I mean, when are we going to, if I'm just looking at this, from, 10,000 feet up in the air, I'm saying, Democrats, this is what has gotten you in a lot of trouble. Being so extreme that you don't do the obvious. Now, I can't speak to what went wrong in this case, but I can just go back to 2022 to tell you a little bit about what he did. This is an article from 3 years ago, almost 3 years ago. Chehalis, the same person, got into a physical fight. Lati was at a motel on Belmont Avenue in Chehalis, pointing a pistol in a couple's face, robbed them. Physical fight ensued, struck a woman on the back of the head, and then helped kick and punch a man who was on the ground. That was 3.5 years ago, and you heard all of the different, and then there were DUIs. I mean, in this case, the judge actually listened to prosecutors and set the bail very high. But it is unclear from my research what happened since then. But the bottom line is I'm tired of people hurting and people suffering because we can't seem to do obviously it's difficult, but it shouldn't be.
Right.
I mean, this is a repeat criminal.
Right. And how is it? And we need to follow up and find out, okay, how is it that this person is out? And if it is, because so often you see that police do their job, prosecutors file the charges, and then in many cases the judges will say, well, their hands are tied because of sentencing guidelines. They can only go with what is on the books currently. And then these dangerous people are let out, and then oftentimes they will commit more crimes. And I believe that we clearly need sentencing reform. But what is the push in Olympia today? And this is something that Gee and I always go back and forth on with the makeup of what's in Olympia today. I mean, it's controlled by one party. And that is where I think it would behoove if not the Democratic Party, basically, I mean, we need more balance in Olympia.
Yes.
That's where I would say I could see where you need to have a more balanced body in Olympia where some of these ideas in terms of, okay, what can we do instead of always trying to shoot down any idea to increase penalties.
Yeah.
The push really has been to do the alternative sentencing.
Right. The challenge, I get what you're saying on the balance piece, but I don't know if that is the best solution because I worry people will just go to their corners. To me, the wise move is whoever is in like the majority, like in this case, we have the Democrats. They should be talking. Like, I know that some of that happened, but there should be a lot more, bipartisan efforts to solve some of these issues. And I know at times there are Republicans who felt like they were kind of iced out of conversations.
I think every time they do feel like that. I mean, that's the unfortunate thing.
Yeah, and that is unfortunate. It's not in our best interest, sadly.
No, for sure. Okay, did you hear that Seattle's getting a new area code? Because 206 has just about run out of phone number combinations. You could get a 564 area code starting next month. That area code is actually introduced back in 2017 because 360, 253, and 425 combinations are also nearly exhausted. And the State Utilities and Transportation Commission says starting on June 10th, if you're in Seattle, you may be assigned a number in the 564 area code if you have need new service or you need an additional line. It's kind of funny, though, 564.
It doesn't roll off as well. There's something about 206 or 425 or the 360 that just, but it's what we're used to.
Yes.
It's so fun. I think it just kind of speaks to we are a growing region.
Yes.
I mean, I remember looking at some data a few years ago that just showed in a 10-year period, I think it was more than 100,000 people that moved to the area. So, this is another sign of growth that we're running out of area codes.
Yeah, Chef.
Prepare all you new 564s to be viewed as the newbies in this state because if you're originally from here, you want to keep that 206, you want to keep that 425, and as soon as you get someone's number, you're like, oh, welcome to Washington. We appreciate having you here.
Or it'll be 564. What state is that? Oh, no, that's actually Seattle.
Then you have to explain.
Well, to mention the last numbers, Seattle had a net gain of about 17,750 people. Those were the last Census Bureau numbers, but that was back in 2022. So they had the population to 750,000, and it was like 2.4% growth rate, which made Seattle one of the fastest among the 50 largest U.S. cities in terms of growth. Mm-hmm. So speaking to that, this whole idea of everyone's leaving. No, actually, a lot of people are moving in, or we're running out of.
Yeah, that's a great thing to point out. 564. Holler if you have it. We haven't seen it on our text line yet.
No, not yet. No, that's because it's not going to start until June 10th.
Okay. Yeah. But I read somewhere that they actually greenlit it several years ago.
2017.
Right, 2017.
Yeah,
but I thought maybe
now
now it's official. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, did you hear about we got a little bit of time, and I know you were looking into it, the new Alaska Airlines?
Oh, situation? Yes. Yeah. So Ben Minicucci, the CEO of Alaska Airlines, announced a new route that they're going to be starting, and it's going to Europe. They are not saying which city in Europe. So, but it is a nonstop to Alaska Airlines going to Europe. So, kind of expanding its reach. There was a recent merger with Hawaiian Airlines, and so they expect to have many more destinations I want to say going to Tokyo. as of this fall, as well as Seoul, Korea this fall, and about 10 new destinations by 2030 globally. So, remember Alaska, like 10 years ago, used to just be, going to the, United States, Hawaii. Then there was Costa Rica. Then there was Belize. And, so
I love it.
It's just stretching itself. I have to tell you, though, the one thing I'm a little bit worried about is just financially. I know it's been a little bit difficult for them lately, and we're in this weird economy. So I'm rooting for them, but I'm just a little concerned.
Hey, so coming up at 10 o'clock, we're doing something special because it is Mother's Day weekend. And coming at 10 o'clock, we want to take your phone calls. And the question is simple. What is the favorite memory you have that you share with your mom? And maybe there's some advice that your mom gave you that you would like to share with us. The number is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We want this to be a full, fresh Friday, and we're going to do that, but getting started with Mother's Day celebration early.
Let's do it. I love it. Yeah. Not too early to celebrate the moms.
Okay, coming up at 9:47. Hey, we are going to be talking about how some Seattle area businesses are throwing out a big welcome mat, and it comes along with some big discounts for Canadian tourists. So we will talk about that. But coming up at 9:30, the Pierce County executive is going to join us and talk about this lawsuit filed against the Trump administration and what it means for the folks in Pierce County. We'll have that coming up next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Have you heard the saying, chuck in a truck? The guy running a roofing company out of his messy pickup? Well, here's the scary part. Washington doesn't require a test or experience to be a licensed roofer, and they definitely don't require a brick and mortar location. Chuck could be working out of his apartment with 0 employees, hiring random guys off the street. Yikes. And the SBA says 90% of roofers are out of business within 5 years. Jim here, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we do things right. We have a real location on Central Avenue in Kent and a team of 50 full-time roofing pros who actually know what they're doing. We're not some fly-by-night outfit. We've put down roots, or in our case, a cement foundation, so you'll always know where to find us. No disappearing acts, no cut corners, just top-quality work from people you can trust. That's RoofSmart. Come see for yourself, or call us at 206-487-4877, or visit us online at getroofsmart.com. That's 206-487-4877 or getroofsmart.com.
You know that cartoon of the three-eyed fish swimming in polluted water next to a nuclear power plant?
Yeah, classic.
I used to think that was real, but I just learned that nuclear energy waste isn't some glowing green goo. It's actually used fuel rods from nuclear reactors that made electricity.
Wait, so no barrels of leaking sludge?
No, solid used fuel rods are safely stored at all the nuclear power plants in the U.S., including the one in Richland.
So the cartoon fish isn't real?
Not even close. Learn the facts about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com.
The markets and the economy will change, but you should always know what you can rely on from your financial advisor. I'm John Ramsire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Seattle. With deep planning and investment expertise, Baird's financial advisors have guided individuals and families through changing markets for more than 100 years. And in all that time, our guiding principle has never changed. Our clients come first, always. Discover the Baird difference at rwbaird.com/Seattle.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic is your best plan for long-term well-being and personalized healthcare. Dr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. How long have some of your patients been working with you?
And we've got patients now that have been with us for over 20 years that are in their 90s who came to us in their 60s. The grandparents now in their 90s are living independently. They're not on walkers, they're not on canes, they're not headed for nursing homes.
I meet people and they ask about, wow, you're in great shape. You have 12% body fat and stuff. What's the secret? I said, it's not a secret. Longevity Medical Clinic has been there for 25 years. There is no secret to the fact that if you make those small changes, you avoid avoid the big, bad, horrible stuff that most of us just think, well, this is what's supposed to happen to me.
And if you're heading downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to continue going downhill. And what we do at Longevity is we redirect you and we take you back up the hill.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Driving your brand new car is incredibly fun, but what about the buying process? We are Kia of Everett, and we believe that when you buy a car from us, it should be simple, easy, and fun. It's golf weather again. So May is Putt for Savings Month, and you're invited. Come take a test drive in your favorite new Kia, and if you love it, make a 10-foot putt to get up to $500 off the price. Because buying a car should be fun. Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun.
Some restrictions apply. Visit KiaofEverett.com for details.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. High schools committed to improving their students' health and performance are invited to apply for Nourishing Champions grants. Up to $20,000 made possible by Champions of Change and Safeway. Visit championsofchange.org/nourishing champions.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you want a dream bathroom without a humongous price tag, now's the time to call Bathfitter Northwest. Ursula Reutin here. I picked Bathfitter because they are the original one-day bath remodeler. They're a local family-owned business that's been around for 40 years. They own every step in the process to make sure you get the best quality product and the best value. Right now, get 0% interest for 24 months, and for a limited time, they'll pay your sales tax. Why would you choose anyone else? Call Bathfitter today.
It's John Curley with a big deal from Window Nation. During their semi-annual sale, right now, get 60% off. And if you buy windows for your entire house, you get a free exterior door, too. And you could get 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments locked in for 2 years. Their energy-efficient windows help cut noise, lower your bills, and reduce your carbon footprint, all with modern style. Backed by a 25-year warranty and transparent pricing, Window Nation gives you the long-lasting comfort without the gimmicks. Made locally with Milgard right here in Tacoma, 866-90Nation or windownation.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The Mariners begin a 3-game homestand against the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. Typically, Canadians swoop down to Seattle for this, but tourism is down due to the trade war.
For Robert Gallant, President Donald Trump's comments about making his country the 51st state sealed it.
I have to put my country over my team and really send a message with my money.
More than 40 Seattle businesses are offering Canadians who show an ID 30% discounts as an incentive to visit. This after border crossings are down more than 50% and businesses near the border are hurting for tourism. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Trade talks are set in Switzerland between China and the Trump administration. CBS's Natalie Brand sets expectations.
Keep in mind, during the first Trump administration, it took roughly 2 years for the Trump administration back then to get an initial trade deal with China after imposing tariffs back in 2018.
The U.S. has imposed a 145% tariff on imports from China. China responded with a 125% tariff on American goods. American cardinals are talking about the election of Chicago-born Pope Leo XIV. This cardinal is also from Chicago.
I felt comfortable saying to Pope Leo, from one South Sider of Chicago to another, I promise you my respect, my fidelity, and my love.
A U.S.-based aid group closes its soup kitchens in Gaza. More from CBS's Linda Gradstein.
The World Central Kitchen was serving more than 130,000 meals per day and baking 80,000 loaves of bread in Gaza over the past weeks, but said it was forced to suspend operations as it has no food to cook.
Israel is blocking aid, saying Hamas has been stealing it. Pro-Palestinian protesters arrested after vandalizing a University of Washington building are getting support.
Demonstrators want charges dropped and suspensions lifted against 21 student protesters arrested Monday night. They are still calling for the UW to divest in Boeing because of its military contracts, and they want protests like this one to continue until the violence in Gaza ends.
As the genocide in Gaza escalates, the Palestinian people call on everyone across the world to escalate their protests.
James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down 162 points, NASDAQ off 31. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Everett, a crash is blocking a lane on US 2 westbound near I-5. It doesn't appear to be affecting traffic, and further east on US 2, whatever was backing up State Route 204 is gone. A reminder, the Ballard Bridge is closing between 50th and 51st Streets this weekend for roadwork, and construction has you slowed down right now on State Route 18 from the Tiger Mountain Summit to I-90. Traffic brought to you by Washington 811. If you're digging in your yard, you're legally required to call 811 to avoid damaging utility lines. Call or go to digsafewad.com. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 70. It's 54 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Angela Poe Russell is in for G. Thank you so much for joining us on this gorgeous Fresh Friday. Pierce County and King County and Snohomish County, they're all suing the Trump administration over what they call coercive grant requirements that threaten federal funding for homeless services and transit. A federal judge has now just issued a temporary 14-day block on the enforcement of the grant conditions or the transfer of funds, but as we just said, that is only temporary. So we want to know what is at stake for Pierce County under this new administration. And right now on the Gee and Ursula Show, Pierce County Executive Ryan Mello joins us. Good morning.
Good morning, Ursula.
So explain, what is the Trump administration expecting or demanding that the county do before they give those promised federal funds?
Yes, thanks for having me. You know, this is a really serious situation. And unfortunately, we're seeing the Trump administration continue their very chaotic and unpredictable administration and how they're administrating the federal government and federal funds. They're beginning to add what we consider to be unlawful new terms and conditions into all kinds of grant agreements that have been in the works for many months now, grant agreements with local governments, as you indicated, in this case for homelessness interventions to get people off the street and into housing, and also for transit operations. So they're adding terms and conditions that are really meant to bully local government, to be coercive, to meet this administration's cruel and radical political agenda that is really extreme, to be anti-diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, and anti-immigrant. These are the kinds of terms and conditions they're adding to grant agreements in order to accept federal money to do really basic services to, again, help get people off the street who are experiencing homelessness, or to deliver transit services to get people to opportunity.
Yeah, well, let's talk for a moment about the implications of this. So Pierce County, as I understand it, you are set to receive, close to $5 million roughly?
Correct.
That had the number correct? So
Correct.
how specifically is this money being used? And if it goes away, what is the impact of that?
Yeah, so we use these dollars that we're talking about today for homeless intervention we call permanent supportive housing. So these are veterans, these are folks with disabilities, these are seniors who are otherwise homeless, put into permanent supportive housing so that they can be cared for and supported and be able to live somewhat independently, but with some support. So these are folks living in apartments with case managers and other supports without helping to pay their rent or case management to help them live somewhat independently. Without that, they would be homeless. So we're talking about, in our case, in Pierce County alone, close to 500 permanent supportive housing units and families that depend on this to stay housed.
So what are they asking? So what is this? Okay, I know that it's about DEI and gender and all these things, but what are they asking you specifically to do differently that would impact people getting into housing?
Yeah, that's part of the problem and why we're not able to sign these grant agreements with these brand new coercive terms and conditions. It's just that. It's the requirements they're putting, these brand new requirements coming out of thin air, which, by the way, contradict the
state
requirements
law, right?
of the grant agreement. Right, the grant agreement told us to do these sorts of things, like make sure that we are being mindful of diversity and inclusion and serving a diverse population. But these grant agreements just are too vague, and that's just the problem. They don't define what it means to be in compliance with their anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion directive. They don't say what it means to exactly comply with their what they call gender ideology, that there are two and only two genders in this world, which we know science completely disagrees with them, or their anti-immigration compliance, which is in complete disagreement with the state law in this regard. So it completely conflicts with state law. So this is why we can't sign these agreements. It is unclear what they're asking us to sign, and we won't sign an agreement that we don't understand and aren't able to comply with, nor will we sign an agreement that completely contradicts our values to protect the most vulnerable people here.
This is Pierce County Executive Ryan Mello on the Gee and Ursula Show. So let's say now this federal judge has done this temporary block, but let's say that it is lifted and then you still don't get the money. What is Pierce County then prepared to do to make up for that difference?
We want nothing more but to continue to accept these federal funds that we have for a very long time under both Republican and Democratic federal administrations. And we want nothing more but to continue to make progress to move people off the streets into housing, keep transit moving people to school and jobs and other opportunities. But we are unfortunately needing to prepare ourselves for a world with significantly less federal funding. That is the reality we find ourselves in with this chaotic and cruel federal administration. And it certainly causes tremendous uncertainty, is very stressful and very cruel. We're going to continue to make the case that what the federal administration is doing is against congressional law. But in the meantime, we have to prepare our local service providers for how we provide these services without federal funds. And at the end of the day, it's going to mean reduced service at the end of the day. We cannot afford to backfill all of the investment the federal government has made, again, by Republican and Democratic federal administrations over the years. This new administration is doing these brand new, cruel, and very unusual things.
Ryan, we're getting a lot of messages on the text line and folks really trying to get a sense for what exactly are the demands. And correct me if I'm wrong, I know at least one of them has to do with perhaps someone who is an illegal immigrant and not conflicting with the federal government's efforts or ICE. Is that one of them? And what else are they exactly requiring you to do?
The grant requires any local government, among other things, it requires any local government that receives funding may not use that funding in a manner that supports so-called sanctuary policies and requires adherence to other future executive orders yet known from this federal administration. What those are yet to be, we don't know, and I don't know how I sign a contract that makes me agree to future executive orders by this president in the space of immigration or other topics. That's just not a way to sign a contract. But Put simply, the conditions the federal government is putting on this award directly conflict with state law. The Keep Washington Working Act clearly limits local law enforcement's role in immigration enforcement. And it says very clearly that immigration enforcement is the sole responsibility of the federal government. And state law tells us that we cannot use local and state law enforcement resources for immigration enforcement, unless there's a judicial order. So let me be really clear. If there's a judicial warrant or a judicial order for anyone, immigrant or non-immigrant, that we're going to comply with that judicial order. We go after all criminals, regardless of their immigration status. But the Keep Washington Working Act limits local law enforcement role in immigration enforcement. So the terms and conditions are in direct conflict with state law.
Well, yeah. And I think that's what were you going to say, Ursula?
Well, we're unfortunately we are running out of time. But what I'm hearing is, I mean, you're calling it these cruel grant requirements, and there's a lot of chaos. But one of the things that it sounds like basically boils down to is state law and federal law are in disagreement.
There's some of that, and I think also what I'm hearing is any leader of a city or a county would not want to sign a contract and agree to stipulations if for things that are overly vague or things you can't predict and see in the future. That doesn't seem like good leadership. And my challenge with this administration is I get moving fast, I get moving quickly, but you need to be strategic and you need to make sure other things are lining up. Because without that, it causes chaos, it causes problems, and it's ineffective.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Pierce County Executive Ryan Mello, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, still ahead, we're going to be talking about the big welcome mat that Seattle area businesses are offering to Canadians and how much money comes along with that. That's coming up next on the Gee and Ursula Show.
My wife and I have been married for over 15 years, and I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after I turned 40, things started feeling different. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and I just wasn't interested in sex anymore. My wife told me her friend's husband went through the same thing, and it turns out he had low testosterone. So we booked a free T-check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that my testosterone levels were low too. We worked with a provider to create a custom treatment plan, and today, my wife and I are having more fun than we did on our honeymoon. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit revivemenshealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Unleash your best self with an endless pool from Olympic Hot Tub, the best swim spa you can own. Now through May 15th, save up to $8,800 on an endless pool swim spa package. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
At the Harnish Auto family, people matter isn't just a saying, it's how they do business. For over 40 years, their dealerships, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Volkswagen, Subaru of Puyallup, plus Chevrolet and Kia of Everett, have built a stellar reputation on trust, respect, and great deals. From supporting local charities to making sure every customer drives away happy, they're here for you. Stop by any of their dealerships or visit HarnishAutoFamily.com and find your next car today. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
Cold is leaking and rats are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy, inviting you to come to work for IRG. With just over 40 locations in the beautiful Pacific Northwest, you have the opportunity to work in the city and place you want with a great team, a great atmosphere, and great mentorship.
Shannon, what type of staff are you looking to hire? Is it just clinical staff right now?
We are looking to hire not only physical therapists, but also occupational therapists, exercise techs, athletic trainers, front office coordinators. We have a whole platform of different services we provide to the community.
Over 40 clinics in the Pacific Northwest. There are openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers and apply today. But Shannon, will they have any fun coming to work at IRG?
Oh my gosh, Brock, that's what it's all about. We want to have fun. We're all about passion. We're all about positivity. We want people to change lives. That's what we're doing here at IRG. We're changing lives, not only of our employees, our patients, and our communities. We want you to be your best self.
So head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers, and apply today.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic has been helping people live longer, healthier lives for more than 25 years. I've recently talked with Dr. Mixon about his approach to proactively focusing on prevention. Dr. Mixon, I first met you in 2009, and I went in there and I told you I wasn't feeling well, couldn't gain any muscle mass, couldn't sleep well, I was stressed out, and you looked at me and you said, yeah, I know what your problem is.
And all we did was we measured your values and we moved your values back to those of a nice, healthy 25-year-old man.
I have taken your blood work to my doctor, and he was shocked. He couldn't believe the depth in which you study my blood.
We need to draw a distinction between living a long time and getting old. And that's what longevity is all about, is we are here to do the measurements and help you fix those problems.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today, and on this Fresh Friday, we've got Angela Poe Russell filling in. And as we have been reporting, fewer Canadians are traveling to the U.S. these days, and that's having a big impact on some local businesses. And now they're trying to offer a big, fat welcome mat for Canadians in the Seattle area. And Luke Ducey has been following all this, and he joins us live.
Yeah, so tonight the Mariners kick off a 3-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. And what happens when the Blue Jays are in town usually, right?
The Blue Jay fans take over the stadium.
Yeah, take it over, which is both annoying, but it's kind of neat to see.
Yeah,
this is their team.
They come in droves. Yes,
maybe not this year. And border crossings from compared to this time last year down 50%. Businesses near the border are hurting. We're hearing more and more because they don't see the tourism dollars. So, blame it on the ongoing trade war between the U.S. and Canada. Canadians are dealing with those high tariffs. That, on our side, I told you about some of the impact on their side of the border. There's still some bad blood. Robert Gallant told Canadian TV he planned on coming down to this series because he does every year, has for years and years. But like a lot of Canadians, he said no because he made the decision when President Trump said he wanted to make Canada the 51st state.
I have to put my country over my team and really send a message with my money.
Yeah, so in response, dozens of businesses in Seattle are saying, hey, we want to extend an olive branch here. So restaurants, bars, the Space Needle as well, they're all offering Canadians 30% discounts this weekend across the board. All visitors have to do is show a passport or a driver's ID or finish their sentence by saying A.
Eh?
Yeah.
About?
Yeah. Ethan Stoll, the Seattle chef and restaurateur, he's one of the folks. Bob Dunnigan from Ivers,
yes.
President and CEO, great guy. If you know Bob, he's a super nice guy. He started all this, but Ethan Stoll is also taking part, rolling out the red carpet for our neighbors to the north. Here's Ethan.
It's really just about extending an olive branch and making sure people know that, hey, we want you down here. We enjoy your company. We love the fact that we're neighbors, and we're not going to get into politics of it.
You know, there's no crying in baseball, so maybe this weekend there won't be any politics in baseball. We can all just kind of get along and enjoy a baseball game together.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so well, good for them for offering the discounts, but I'm curious, does that mean now that there are a lot, I mean, the Mariners are hot right now.
They are hot.
And does it mean that there are going to be a lot more seats available? Or, I mean, are we going to see a big change at the park?
Great question. I think you're going to see less Blue Jays fans. Yeah. But Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday, so the series finishes on my. And I also put I said to Ethan, look, we're still going to root for the Mariners. They're hot. I just wanted to play this last clip for you. And, I think we all agree, though. We want to be neighborly. However,
we definitely want the Mariners to win. As much as we love our neighbors to the north, we still want to see them lose.
So there you go.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate that.
Well, sadly, we all lose because of these policies. This was such a lighthearted conversation. I feel like I'm the Debbie Downer. I just feel bad for the businesses that are struggling because of the drop in tourism from our neighbors. And even though I'm sure many of them realize, hey, this isn't their fault. We're not national politics, right? We're just here, living our lives. But if they're trying to send a message and protest, this is the way you do it. And so that makes me sad.
And they are very disciplined about that. The one thing that I hear from all my Canadian friends, and I think I've told you that my son is dating a Canadian, they are very unified when it comes to, you know what, you're not getting our dollars. And it's sad. I mean,
and we're not the only place. I mean, I was in Arizona recently, and their tourism book was saying how Canada, that's their number one tourist population from Canada going into Arizona.
Oh, sure.
However you think about it, and have whatever you think about it. And we don't mean to be so tongue-in-cheek as well. It's kind of fun, but you're right. I mean, there's so many businesses and so many people and their livelihoods tied to each other on both sides of the border. We need each other economically.
For sure. And I'm curious if anyone has changed their idea also about traveling north. I mean, I haven't traveled up to Canada in at least 6 months.
Okay, listen, I just told the folks in the studio about this, how I recently traveled, and for the first time ever, TSA took my phone. I've never had TSA take my phone, ever. And they took it and they did some kind of scan of it and gave it back.
Really?
And they've done my computer before.
Yeah.
But this was the first. So if I'm just having, even if it's totally a nothing burger,
right.
even if it's a nothing burger,
you're just a heightened
to
awareness.
have the question, I can't be the only one with that question.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to remind everybody that we are celebrating Mother's Day a little bit early here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Coming up in the 10 o'clock hour, we want to take your phone calls. Please don't disappoint. Call us at 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We want to leave all politics aside, and we want to talk about moms, specifically your mom. What favorite memory do you share with your mom? Or what is the best piece of advice that your mom or your mother
and I have a
figure in your
good
life-
one because my mom gave me lots of quotes.
advice. Okay, so we're going to do that coming up at 10 o'clock. And if you can't call in, you can also join us on our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page. There's a great community there, and all of you are sharing your thoughts about mom there as well. We'll have more of the show coming up next.
White smoke above the Sistine Chapel.
History is happening.
Habemus Papam. We have a pope.
The first American pope to lead the Roman Catholic Church.
Local coverage of the biggest stories at home and around the world.
Cardinal Robert Prevost of Chicago. He is taking the name of Pope Leo XIV.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, the KIRO News Radio app, and read the latest at mynorthwest.com.
Every family has a story to tell. At Dunn Lumber, ours is about trust. During the Great Depression, trust was hard to come by. People were so skeptical of banks. Customers would stop by the lumberyard, put their money in an envelope, and leave it in this safe. The safe still stands today as a symbol of our most valuable asset, your trust. If there's ever anything we can do to better earn your trust, email me personally. Mike Dunn at DunnLumber.com.
Dunn Lumber, building trust since 1907.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head.
The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Mariners fans, it's time to bring the noise to T-Mobile Park. This lineup is loaded up and locked in. From every moonshot.
Now Raleigh obliterates this. How far? Way back there.
To every how in the world did he catch that moment?
Up play. Air Williamson reels it in.
Be here as the squad shuts the door and lights the W.
Munoz looking for the final out. Here's the stretch and a 2-2 on the way to Young. It is strike 3 called and the ball game is over.
This is our house.
They're going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Be here for this week's Mariners homestand. Cal Raleigh and the crew are taking on the Blue Jays tonight through Sunday. Then Aaron Judge and the Yankees are in town for a 3-game set Monday through Wednesday. Go to Mariners.com to get your tickets for these back-to-back AL East showdowns at T-Mobile Park.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-230-2777. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-230-2777, 800-230-2777, or biglou.com.
At Carter Subaru, your drive begins with savings. With over 300 new vehicles in stock, shop your way, in-store or from home. Plus, when you buy from Carter, you support our community. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard today.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Steve Kathan. For the second time in 2 weeks, a troubling issue at a major airport.
CBS News has learned there was another outage at an air traffic control facility impacting Newark Airport. Early Friday morning, the radar screens went black for about 90 seconds at a facility that manages traffic in and out of Newark. The Federal Aviation Administration is blaming this on a telecommunications outage, and this comes after another outage last week rattled American confidence in flying and led to cascading delays at Newark. Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News, Washington.
Commuter chaos in the San Francisco area as a computer problem affects service on Bay Area Rapid Transit.
Waiting for Uber to get me to work approved by my manager because I have to be there.
BART spokeswoman Alicia Trost says restoring service took time.
It's a very big network. There's track components and circuitry. There's train control rooms that all need to be functioning correctly. There's a massive computer system that all feeds to the control center.
Well, President Trump suggested today that tariffs on China could possibly be cut to 80% instead of the current 145%. It comes ahead of a weekend meeting on trade between U.S. and Chinese officials in Switzerland. CBS's Natalie Brand.
Small business owners left in limbo by the administration's trade policy and sky-high tariffs on Chinese imports say they are anxiously watching negotiations.
We can't possibly absorb a 145% tax
on our raw materials.
Jason Levitt's company in Alexandria, Virginia, manufactures lithium batteries for race cars and motorcycles. He says he can only get the main component, lithium cells, from China.
Retired Supreme Court Justice David Souter died yesterday at 85. CBS's Jan Crawford says he changed how the GOP considered court nominees. The New Hampshire Republicans sided with liberals on the court.
Going forward, we have very solid, reliable, conservative justices who don't seem like they're going to be a surprise or they're going to shift to the left. That's all because Republicans so egregiously blundered from their view the nomination of David Souter.
A Chicago mass this morning celebrating the selection of a native son to be the next pope, Leo XIV. American Cardinal Timothy Dolan.
That's what the Latin word pontiff means. He's a bridge builder. Will he want to build bridges to Donald Trump? I suppose, but he would want to build bridges with the leader of every nation.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is down 185 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. Protect your auto, home, and business with Progressive and get 24/7 coverage. See if you can save at Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
Wanted in on the run. The story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. No major blocking issues right now, and your travel times are what we'd expect. Everett to Seattle, half an hour. Federal Way to Seattle, half an hour. Renton to Bellevue, 24 minutes. And your lake bridges are nearly clear. Construction is slowing you down on State Route 18 from the Tiger Mountain Summit up to I-90. And a reminder, the Ballard Bridge is closing between 50th and 51st Streets this weekend for road work. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A man wanted on multiple felony warrants fired at Thurston County deputies as they tried to arrest him. Sheriff Derek Sanders tells KIRO 7 TV 27-year-old Damian Madison was last seen near the Chehalis Western Trail yesterday.
Has a history of stealing cars after fleeing from stolen cars, so there's a decent chance he's already stolen a car and left the area. He is also a prolific burglar, so there's a decent chance that he is in someone's shed, barn, house who maybe not occupied.
We put his photo up at mynorthwest.com. If you see him, call 911. Video shows that the man accused of running away after his SUV went off an overpass, crashing onto I-5 in Tukwila. He initially told state troopers he was not the driver. Their response:
your shoes are on the driver's side floorboard, right? You sure you want to keep saying that same thing? Because that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, man.
A passenger in Dowd Muhammad's car died in the crash March 7th. 4 other people were injured. He faces multiple charges. 2 men face charges after allegedly using credit card skimmers to steal money from people in Puyallup. Police tell the News Tribune the crooks stole nearly $30,000 from just 2 of the victims. The main road to the Hoh Rainforest has officially reopened. More from KIRO 7 TV's Louis Tran.
Celebrations and cheers at the iconic Hoh Rainforest.
Today, we are breathing a collective sigh of relief.
The main road was shut down for nearly half a year after it was severely damaged by a storm. The governor held a ribbon-cutting ceremony to celebrate a moment of hope to many small businesses nearby.
They depend on the tourists and the visitors who want to go hiking and climbing like me, spending dollars at the coffee shop, the restaurants, the gas stations.
And the state paid more than $600,000 to repair the damage on this road, including more than $20,000 in private funding.
The Seattle Mariners have won 9 series in a row, and they're hoping to make it 10 this weekend as they take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Mariners broadcaster Rick Riz says despite some injuries, the team is on a roll.
They're winning a lot of games. They have the best record in baseball since April the 9th. A lot of good things to talk about. Dan Wilson has done a great job.
Tonight's game at T-Mobile Park starts at 6:40. You can hear it on our sister station, 710 Seattle Sports. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 70. It's 57 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Happy Fresh Friday to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us on the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. Angela Poe Russell is in.
Good morning.
You.
Now, I noticed something.
Yes, what's
I
that?
noticed you said Fresh Friday. You're like, I'm not doing it.
I can't.
You're like, I'm not doing it.
It would sound so ridiculous. It would sound so ridiculous for me to do it.
I see.
But
He
Gee does it, and he does it, and he says, okay, just for everybody, and just in honor of Gee, Fresh Fridays.
See, you did great.
Yeah.
You did great.
He likes to let that S linger just to get me.
I was going to say, he does it just to
Yes, to get
ya.
under my skin. Hey, coming up at 10:30, we are going to be talking about why the Seattle police chief is apologizing over this response to this nude beach. This one little beach is getting a whole lot of attention. So we'll talk about that coming up at 10:30. But right now, again, this is time to celebrate mom. Lots of moms in studio right now, but this is a time to celebrate your mom or you if you are the mom. Text us right now. 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Actually, don't text us. Call us.
Yeah, we're
because
opening up our phone
we are
lines.
opening up the phone lines, which is a rare thing. And I got to tell you, I get nervous whenever we do open phone calls because we just don't do it enough.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get enough people to call in to do it regularly. So this is going to be on you right now. Call us if you want to share your favorite memories about mom, because we all have lots of memories.
Yes.
We also understand that this is a very complicated day for a lot of people. And we want to hear your stories too, if you're willing to share. And so Heather Bosch is here joining us for the conversation. And I before we get everybody to call in right now, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. If you don't have that card yet, here's a chance to actually wish mom a happy Mother's Day right now on the air. But I want to talk to both of you about Mother's Day and your own moms. And maybe just starting there, Angela, I'll start with you. What is something that you think of when you think of Mom's Day? Your favorite memory of your mom?
Ooh, favorite memory. I would definitely say it's the simple things. It is taking us to go play tennis in the neighborhood, and we had a ritual that whoever lost had to take their socks off on the way home. Like, you beat your socks off or whatever. So that was the ritual. So that was always a fun thing. And but I'll tell you the thing that I really appreciated about her. She had a rule that when I get home from work, I'm going to go in my room and close the door and don't bother me during that time. But when I come out, we're going to have a lot of fun. And I thought that was so healthy. So I still remember, like, okay, give her space. And then she'd come out and we would do dance routines and we would have so much fun. So I thought, that's a really good thing that I should implement.
Is your mom still with you?
She's still here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
she is still here. And then in terms of, I know we'd also ask about favorite quotes. Can I
Yes,
give that now?
Of course, yeah.
She always said, Angela, people are like elevators. They either take you up or they take you down.
Ooh, I like that.
There wasn't in, so that really made me think about the people in my life.
Call us, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. The phone lines are open right now, and we have a bunch of people joining us, so we're going to get to your calls here in just a second. But, Heather, I want to hear from you.
I have to tell you about my favorite gift from one of my sons. When I moved to New York to work for the network, I went ahead of my family, and both of my sons were still in grade school, middle school age. And my former husband and I got them cell phones so we could communicate while I was in New York. So they got the phone. And one day, right before Mother's Day, I got this photo from my youngest son who'd gone out to the play yard at the elementary school and picked up dandelions. And he had a little fist full of dandelions. And he snapped a picture of this bouquet of dandelions for me. And to this day, I have that photo and I adore it. It's the most wonderful bouquet, Mother's Day bouquet I have ever received or ever will receive, was that little batch of dandelions.
Always
That
the
is
little
too
things,
sweet.
right?
Well, we are going to go to our phone lines right now. Scott in Federal Way is joining us. Good morning, Scott. Thank you for being on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Good morning.
You've got a memory of your mom that you want to share. Tell us about her.
Yes. Well, my mom, her name is Lydia Diane Ramey, and she died 4 years ago in the first rounds of COVID. And,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and at the time I had just rekindled quite a broken relationship with her, so I was glad I was able to do that. And I guess my encouragement to people is don't let small or big things get in the way of a relationship like that, because I wish I could have one more day with her.
I'm so sorry for your loss. If you had that one more day, what would you want to say to her that you didn't get a chance to say?
I would like to acknowledge how strong I know that she was as our growing up. I had a difficult growing up, moving around a lot, and she made every place we went as best as it could possibly be. She was always fun, changing around the living room furniture all the time just as a hobby. You come home from school and you'd think I walked into a different house. And just always made, if the car was broken down and we were out, she'd take us out in the woods and we'd have fun. We wouldn't even know that Dad was walking into town to go get new tires. We just thought we went out to the woods for the day. So it was fun.
Yeah,
she was a good mom.
Scott, thank you so much for sharing that. Again, our phone lines are open for you, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We've got Janelle in Lake Bay. Good morning, Janelle.
Hi, Ursula. How are you?
Good. So tell me about your mom and your mom's day memories.
Okay, I'll try really hard to get through this without getting emotional. My last birthday that my mom was alive for was 3 years ago. And one of the things, my mom had dementia before she went, so she was fading pretty fast. But one of the things my mom always had trouble with was remembering my birthday. My birthday's on August 24th, and she would always think it was August 25th. So my last birthday that she was alive, I got a call the day before my birthday, and it was Mom. And I was kind of surprised because Mom didn't make very many phone calls anymore. And so I answered the phone, and it was Mom. We're talking, and she finally says, well, the reason I called, I know it's your birthday tomorrow, which was shocking because she was right. It was my birthday tomorrow. And she said, I know I'll forget by tomorrow, so I just wanted to call you and tell you happy birthday today. And it was just so sweet. And we talked for a few more minutes, and I was crying and telling her thank you. Well, the next day, which was actually my birthday, my phone rings again. And it's Mom. She goes, yeah, I remembered today was your birthday.
Oh, wow.
And so I wanted to call you and tell you because she said I probably won't be here for the next one. So 2 days in a row, she nailed it and got it right. And it was just the best birthday present ever.
Gosh, when things like that happen, like, what do you make of it? It feels so much bigger, right?
It was just a gift. It was a gift, and I treasure it. I just treasure that memory all the time.
Well, thank you so much, Janelle, for sharing this with her. Yeah, we appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Okay, our phone number is 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Our phone lines are filling up, but we are going to make time for you. So make sure you call in. Let's go to Lisa in Warm Beach. Good morning, Lisa. Tell us about your mom and your favorite memory.
Oh, good morning. My mother, we got the call on Mother's Day that my mother went into the hospital and she wasn't going to be coming out. That was 1991. So Mother's Day has been very bittersweet for our family.
I understand.
The last words she said to the six of us, me and my siblings, were, love each other and be kind to each other, please. That's all I'm asking. And it really was the best thing she could have said. Yeah.
Do you have? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Do you have a favorite memory you want to share or a quote? I mean, I'd love that you just shared with us what her advice was at the end. But is there any other memory you would like to share?
Well, I have memories of people coming up to me that I didn't even know in the town she lived at, saying, did you know your mother operates a food bank out of her kitchen? And I heard that before and after she died. So she put her money where her mouth was. She believed in helping people, and she did what she could. And that was nice to hear that,
That is so cool.
good to hear that. Yeah.
And Lisa, can you reiterate the last words that your mom said to all of your siblings? Because I would like to use it at the end of the show today.
She said to love each other and to be kind to each other. And that there was nothing else that mattered. To love each other and be kind to each other.
So much power in that simple phrase. Yes.
Thank you so much, Lisa. We appreciate it. Our phone lines are open for you right now. I see some familiar names that are ready to talk to us. 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Before we take the next caller, I want to ask you, do you have a thing that you do today because of your mom?
Ooh, probably none that I'd want to admit. I can't think of her. Let me think on that. I think Nikki in Tacoma wants to go next. Let me think about what I want to say. What about you?
I'll save you because, my mom died right after Christmas in 2023, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't miss her terribly.
Yeah.
And there's things that I do that I realize, oh my gosh, I've become my mom. I mean, we share the joy of singing. That was one thing. But people ask me, what is the deal with you and perfume? I mean, my mom would walk in a room and you could smell her from a mile away. So it's like I've picked up that whole thing and I've created this collection. And I realize that I'm trying to fill in this void that my mom has left. And that's one of the ways that I do that. It's, desperately looking for that connection. So I relate to so many people of you who are calling in and saying, I miss my mom, or my mom's no longer here, or these are, favorite sayings or last words. We are going to go to Nikki in Tacoma. Good morning, Nikki.
Good morning, ladies. Happy early Mother's Day. Sorry, you got me emotional, believe it or not, with them. And then you talking about your mom, Ursula, because we were all there with you in a sense, and
I do know.
And it does break my heart because it's such an empty, it's a huge void. And I'm blessed. I had my mom. In fact, she does live with my husband and I, and I realized truly how lucky I am to have her in my life. And though, with my disability, she's been my rock since the beginning. She has been there. And just like the last caller, she's always taught me straight up that to have love, empathy, and compassion, and how hard is it to be nice to one another and to just smile. And I think that's why I always give everyone a chance. You know what I mean? Even people who really probably shouldn't, you know what I mean? But the truth of the matter is, it's hard not to love everyone, even when you disagree, even, especially now when we're all polarized. But there's just so many good memories I have and again, still to make. But I wanted to just say when I helped her and she was finally able to leave a very toxic marriage after 26 plus years, to just see her beaming and feeling empowered and regaining her sovereignty and then sharing it with her family. It was kind of like that light bulb that goes off and you realize we all can reclaim, our strength and our voice.
For sure.
And just keep spreading that love and joy,
Nikki, thank you so much. You are truly one of our favorite people on the text line. You are very regular and consistent, and we just enjoy reading what you, and I love hearing your voice. Thank you so much for joining us.
I love you all, and hey, happy Fresh Friday.
Okay,
thank you, Nikki.
I hope we record that.
I know.
Yes.
Pat and Linwood, thank you for calling.
Are we going to Margot?
Okay, we are going to go to Margot in Lakewood. Good morning, Margot.
Actually, it's Lake Stevens. I was thinking about my mom the other morning when you guys were talking about etiquette and courtesy. And one of the things my mom always made us do is we had to learn table place sittings. We had to learn ballroom dance.
Nice.
And she sent us for tennis lessons And we kept saying, Mom, why do we have to do all this? And she'd say, well, you never know. You might get invited to the tennis club one day.
I love her. Oh, my gosh.
And we're like, Mom, I don't think that's probably going to happen. But later in life, when I was interviewing for executive positions, it was interesting because they'd invite you out to dinner. They'd check out to see, how you interacted with people, how you communicated with people, whether or not you had table manners. So I just thought, well done, Mom.
Yes. I love, oh my gosh, I love her.
Margot, thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing.
Oh, I love
you
that.
Bet. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to Allison in Stillicum. Good morning, Allison. What are your favorite memories of your mom?
Good morning, Ursula. Nice to talk with you.
Yes.
My mom has been gone for 3 years.
I'm sorry.
But my favorite thing is that my daughter was a year and a half old when my mom passed, and my son never got to meet my mom. But I see my mom in both my kids every day. And I just know that is a sign from her that she's here with me always.
For sure. Is there, and I'm sorry if I feel your pain still, and I'm so glad that you see her memory in your children. I mean, that is a beautiful thing. And I sure appreciate you calling in on this Mother's Day, and I hope you have a great Mother's Day.
Well, thank you so much. You too, Ursula. I'm sending you big hugs. It's a tough day to get through.
Yes, right back to you. And we're going to join Pat in Linwood. Good morning, Pat. Thank you for joining the Gee and Ursula Show.
Good morning, ladies. It's first-time caller. It's great listening to you.
Oh, appreciate you calling in. What are your favorite memories of Mom?
So mine's a little unique. I'm talking about my mother-in-law and my mom. My mother-in-law held me when I was born before my mom did. A little bit of a story. I was raised in the military. My dad and family went all over the world. Met my wife in high school, my wife of 41 years, and we were looking through baby pictures, of my baby pictures, and she stopped me and she goes, "That's my mom." She was holding my twin brother and I in this picture, hopefully she was looking at me, but when my mom gave birth back then, the doctor gave the baby to the nurse. The nurse cleaned the baby up and brought the baby to mom. So my mother-in-law held me before my mom did.
Wait, so the nurse eventually became. Well, no, I'm confused. Okay, do you get it?
So the nurse became your mother-in-law?
No, the nurse at that time. Became my mother-in-law. She went. My wife is 6 months older than I am, so her mom went back to work, and I happened to move to Duluth, Minnesota, in my senior year of high school, and I met my wife then.
That is wild.
That is.
Wow.
That is so cool. So, if you had, are they still alive?
My mother-in-law passed away young. She was 50 when she passed away. So it's always, we remember her frequently and just the things that we do in our family. Well, my mom's still alive. We're going to go see her next week in Minnesota. And she's struggling with things these days. But, there's so many things I could talk about my mom. She's one of those people that has an answer for everyone. Do you know what I mean? So her opinion matters. That's the way I say it.
I love it. Pat and Linwood, thank you so much for sharing. Unfortunately, we are over time, but what a great bunch of calls. Thank you so much to all of you who took part in our Mother's Day celebration a little bit early here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing. And I have to tell you, when I walked in the newsroom this morning, I said, it smells so good in here. It smells so good. And now I'm starting to maybe it was. I actually thought, I wonder if it's Ursula. And that's a great thing. I love that. So it's a beautiful.
Mom.
I'm glad you talked about that. I walked in and it just smelled great.
Okay, still ahead, we're going to be talking about all the tension on this nude beach in Seattle and what the new Seattle police chief is saying about it. This is the Gee and Ursula Show.
This hour is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington.
I just learned 10% of our electricity in Washington comes from nuclear energy.
I've heard it's reliable and has a small footprint, but what about the waste?
It's not what you might think. No overflowing dumpsters or leaking barrels. Used fuel is safely stored in solid form after powering homes, schools, and businesses for years. All nuclear power plants in the U.S. store their used fuel responsibly to protect the environment.
Where can I learn more?
You can learn about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com. Energy Northwest, powering our clean energy future.
Ivers has opened its new Clam Digger Cafe on Pier 54 in the new Seattle Waterfront Park. Order off the menu, featuring new shareables like pretzel and beer cheese bites, crab and shrimp empanadas, a fried clam po' boy, or Ivers margarita prawns. You can still get Ivers favorites, including fish and chips, calamari, Seattle's favorite clam chowder, grilled salmon, or halibut. Try Ivers' new Clam Digger Cafe on Pier 54. Details at ivers.com. Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Hey there, Don Reiling with Olympic Hot Tub. Get ready to unleash your best self with your very own Hot Spring Spa. Hot Spring Spas feature the amazing Freshwater IQ salt system. Enjoy healthy saltwater soaks and a tub that automatically tests your water for you. And now till May 15th, save up to $3,800 on your new hot tub. Details at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
Olympic Hot Tub. Hey, it's John Curley with Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision RLE. Doc, I heard that 50% of Americans have their lenses replaced by the time they're 75.
That's exactly right, John. As we near 50, our eye's natural lens starts to become dysfunctional. If you've now added readers to your need for glasses and contacts, it's a sign the quality and function of your natural lens is fading, and it's a steady decline towards cataracts.
Don't go another 20 plus years with poor vision, hassling with contacts and readers. Do what I did. Choose a quick, painless refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE and start enjoying great vision now.
Our new lens technology is truly amazing. After replacing over 100,000 lenses, we have the experience to guide each patient to their best solution, even if that's recommending you wait a little while before RLE.
K2 Vision RLE can restore distance and near vision permanently, plus never develop a cataract. Read the reviews and schedule a free Zoom consultation now at k2visionrle.com.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimers.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today, talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
High schools committed to improving their students' health and performance are invited to apply for Nourishing Champions grants, up to $20,000 made possible by Champions of Change and Safeway. Visit championsofchangefoundation.org/nourishing champions.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Washington is leading more than a dozen states in suing President Trump over his executive order declaring a national energy emergency. That announcement just now from Attorney General Nick Brown.
Because of the president's order, federal agencies are now bypassing or weakening critical reviews under the Clean Water Act, the Endangered Species Act, and the Historic National Preservation Act.
He says there is no emergency, that U.S. energy production has never been higher.
It is all about eliminating competition and shackling America to dirty fossil fuels forever.
14 states filed suit in Western Washington today. In light of the president's trade war, Canadian tourism is down in Seattle. So businesses are working harder to woo Toronto Blue Jays fans in town for the games against the Mariners this weekend.
More than 40 Seattle businesses are offering Canadians who show an ID or end their sentences with the word A 30% discounts, including Chef Ethan Stoll.
It's really just about extending an olive branch, and we love the fact that we're neighbors, and we're not going to get into politics of it.
Border crossings are down more than 50% compared to this time last year. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Representatives from the Trump administration and China are planning to meet in Switzerland to talk trade over the weekend. The U.S. has imposed a 145% tariff on imports from China. China responded with a 125% tariff on American goods. Pressure is growing on Israel to lift its blockade on humanitarian aid that it imposed in March. CBS's Linda Gradstein has the latest.
Israel says it is working on a plan to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza, in which U.S. contractors would distribute the food to individual families in the southern part of Gaza. Meanwhile, aid agencies say hunger and malnutrition are growing, and the World Central Kitchen said it had shut down operations after it ran out of stocks of food.
Supporters want charges and suspensions dropped against 21 University of Washington students. They're accused of vandalizing a building on campus Monday during a Gaza war protest.
People are facing bombs, bullets, forced starvation, cuts to water and electricity. I think that damage is the damage we should be focusing on.
The UW says the protesters did $1 million worth of damage to an engineering building and equipment on campus. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 155 points. NASDAQ is off 36. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk in Bothell, a crash has blocked nearly all of southbound I-405 at State Route 527. You're getting by on the shoulder. You're backed up from Canyon Park to State Route 524. Travel time Linwood to Bellevue is 37 minutes. That's about 20 longer than the usual. Construction is slowing you down on State Route 18 from the Tiger Mountain Summit to I-90. And a reminder, the Ballard Bridge is closing between 50th and 51st Streets this weekend for road work. Traffic brought to you by Beacon Plumbing. For all your heating, electrical, septic, and mechanical needs, stop freaking, call Beacon. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 70. It's 57 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Oh, yeah.
Shaka Khan.
Someone knows what music I love on this Fresh Friday.
I feel for the moms out there, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much, Nick. This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Angela Poe Russell in for Gee, and we're going to talk about this new beach in Seattle.
Oh, my gosh. It's the story that just keeps
on
going,
giving.
right? It does. Seattle's new police chief, he's taking responsibility for an incident involving his officers and people at an infamous nude beach in Seattle. Many times on this show, you've heard us talk about Denny Blaine Park. It's a space frequented by members of the LGBTQ community and where beachgoers are allowed to be naked. Well, this past Sunday, police officers showed up they weren't called upon. It was like a routine patrol. And they threatened to bar anyone who didn't put on clothes. Well, at a community meeting this week, several people confronted Chief Sean Barnes over this. He apologized for the misinterpretation of the law and said in a statement that they are reevaluating patrols of the park. And later in a statement, he said, we recognize the historic use of the park as an LGBTQIA plus gathering place and nude beach, especially in light of historical context. Simply being nude at this park is not a crime. That said, we do not have tolerance for illegal, indecent, or lewd behavior at the park. And I'll stop right there because what this statement is really trying to balance, Ursula, is yes, we know that. First, he apologized, which is great. Can I just say that's refreshing as a leader? It's like, y'all, it is okay to just admit when you've made a mistake or where there was a mistake made.
1000%.
And we, as the recipients of it, need to be, we need to actually reward that.
Yes.
We want leaders to admit when they've made a mistake. Okay, so getting to this. What he's balancing here is this idea that this has long been a space for members of the LGBTQ plus community to go. Respect that. That's all well and good. And there have been documented cases of people who have done inappropriate things and at that location, and that's not okay. So how do you balance the community, the people who live there complaining, saying this has been a nuisance for this reason, and at the same time respecting this opportunity that members of the community have had? It is an ultimate battle, and it's going to impact the mayor's race. This is drama.
Yeah, this is drama, especially since there's now a lawsuit that was filed by the Seattle homeowners in that area, basically saying that it has become a magnet for people wanting to do lewd acts. So the question would be, did the police stop folks from doing these so-called lewd acts, or were they just simply nude at the time?
Apparently, there were no acts happening at that time. They were just naked, and they said, if you don't put on. So it sounds like the officers had a misinterpretation of the law.
Okay. So what I think is going to need to happen is they're going to have to get, unfortunately, very explicit about what is considered a lewd act.
Well,
I mean, simply being nude. I mean, we had a whole discussion. I don't know if it was one of the days that you were listening to the show, but Gee and I are in complete disagreement over what is considered.
I think it's pretty obvious, right?
Exactly. What is considered decent or indecent when it comes to what you wear to the beach, to a public beach, and should there be a dress code?
I heard him talk about that, and I'm like, dude, then don't go to Europe, okay? If you don't think certain things, because people are now wearing thongs and there are no tops.
People are wearing thongs at Lake Chelan. People are wearing thongs at Green Lake Park.
But the issue here that the homeowners are saying, if there have been documented cases of people doing sexual acts.
Yeah, so public masturbation is basically what we're talking about in many cases, or other things that really no one needs to see out in public.
Yes.
And those are criminal acts. And those, yes, police should be, stopping that. And if people aren't stopping it, arresting them for it, arresting them if they're doing it in public. But what I think here, if this in fact did happen, and now the police chief is also apologizing, it feels like it kind of helps the lawsuit along. It's like, okay. But what are your thoughts?
When you say it helps the lawsuit along?
Well, I mean, one of the things they're saying is that or maybe maybe it's an overreaction to the lawsuit because the lawsuit is saying police have been so hands off.
Exactly.
So I think I think it's the opposite of that. Excuse me.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I do not envy the mayor in this position because he's up for re-election.
Yes. Okay. And explain why the mayor, because there's some very high profile people who are involved in terms of the lawsuit.
It's my understanding,
and this neighborhood.
that one of his opponents, I think in the mayor's race, is somehow affiliated. So maybe, Chef, you can help me find that out. But there's some kind of connection there. But my point is, whenever you have someone up for re-election and you have this issue where you're pitting in this neighborhood where people have a lot of money, there's a lot of money and influence in this neighborhood. And then on the other side of things, you have a very vocal and loud LGBTQ plus community that's like, leave our space alone. And how do you balance how
do you balance a top donor versus one of the strongest constituencies in the city? I think the background here was that, of course, they originally were trying to build a park there, a kids park, so nudity would not be legal. And that all came about because someone in the neighborhood, who there are suspicions about who it is, texted the mayor directly, according to reporting, and then a representative of the mayor's office went to their home to meet with them about that issue. And then all of a sudden we have a proposal for a park, and it's that kind of direct access and, okay, I'm going to send a representative to your house to talk about this extremely niche issue that impacts you and 12 other people at most. And then we're going to take city action on it. It wasn't a good look, in my opinion.
No, I
You
mean
like
and
having all
specifically
this-
as someone who is referred to as Mr. Sloan, who did this back and forth between the mayor and him, and this is someone who has a lot of influence. And then what Chef is referring to is, the LGBTQ community. I mean, which again is a lot of support too.
Yeah, I could argue, though, that city officials go to neighborhoods all the time. If I were an elected official, I would want to go see that park for myself. So I could make a case for making a field trip to the neighborhood, seeing the park for myself, and talking to the homeowner.
And do it on a repeated basis. You're not going to see some of these things that allegedly are happening just by one drive-by, right?
No.
I mean, you need to really know
Chef's
what's going
giving
on.
me a look. Chef just gave.
I believe you, but that is also because you would be extraordinarily sensitive to the needs of your constituents, right? And you would treat everyone equally.
Yes.
That's just it. So I think.
So you're saying that you don't think they're doing field trips in other neighborhoods? Is that what you're saying?
You heard about any?
Do you? Well, but they've been asked to take a look, and there have been allegations of criminal acts happening at this park. So police do need to go there. What they don't need to be doing is telling people who are just doing what
they're legally allowed
to do. Yeah.
Okay, by the way, I just have to call out this song because there's so many different ways I could take this song. Higher Love. I mean, don't get me started, Nick. Don't tempt me.
It's up to your own interpretation, okay?
I love it. Text us what you think. 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. Okay, still ahead, scenarios. We solve other people's problems. That's coming up next. Gee and Ursula.
White smoke above the Sistine Chapel.
History is happening.
Habemus Papam. We have a pope.
The first American pope to lead the Roman Catholic Church.
Local coverage of the biggest stories at home and around the world.
Cardinal Robert Prevost of Chicago. He is taking the name of Pope Leo XIV.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, the KIRO News Radio app, and read the latest at mynorthwest.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-230-2777. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-230-2777. That's 800-230-2777. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-230-2777. 800-230-2777.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hartley Wilcox here from Wilcox Family Farms. I've really enjoyed meeting so many of you at our recent egg demo events. I'm often asked, are omega-3 eggs really better for you? They sure are. Omega-3 eggs are an incredible source of natural omega-3s, providing on average 3 times that of other eggs. Eating omega-3 eggs promotes strong bones and joints and is proven to reduce cholesterol and blood pressure. Choose Wilcox Family Farms eggs today. Locally fresh since 1909.
Hey, Brock Heward here, along with IRG Physical and Hand Therapy President and CEO, Shannon O'Kelly. Now, Shannon, I need to ask you if what I've been hearing is true. You don't need a referral, really, to see a physical therapist in the state of Washington?
That's exactly right, Brock. The state of Washington is a state that has what's called direct access. That means that if you get up in the morning, for example, and you hurt your back or did something to your muscles or tendons or joints, you can call a physical therapist directly, and we can get you in that same day and start your care and your recovery process.
How can patients get scheduled with IRG?
Oh, it's easy. You just contact us at irgpt.com. We'll direct you to our concierge service, and we'll take care of all that for you. We handle all the authorization, verification. We want our patients to understand their insurance benefits and what the outcomes are going to be with their visit to IRG Physical and Hand Therapy.
Please, please, please don't let injuries keep you from your passion. Schedule online today at irgpt.com and start the journey back to your best self.
I've never had any complaints about my performance in the bedroom. But after turning 40, I noticed my libido just wasn't what it used to be. That's when I reached out to Revive Health. Their team knew exactly what I needed, which is why today, my wife and I are both more satisfied than ever.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, text BOOST to 65555 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com to schedule your appointment. Message and data rates may apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help. Text stop to cancel. See privacy policy at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy. For info on how opt-in info will be used. And terms and conditions at ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of short code service.
We know finding a company to trust with your home is a big decision and one we look forward to earning with incredible service, top quality products, and lifetime warranties. Adrian here, owner of Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Our windows are feature-rich with our sound package that reduces noise by 50%, clean glass technology, and added protection with our exclusive First Guard 3-layer security glass. Learn more about all of these features at lakewashingtonwindows.com. Lake Washington Windows and Doors, a name you can trust.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with Angela Poe Russell, and it is time for scenarios.
I've been dating this guy for about 5 months. Let me just say, he is amazing. He builds furniture in his spare time. He fosters shelter animals and once spent a weekend replanting a neighbor's entire garden after her husband passed just because she looked like she needed something beautiful to look at. He is that guy. Thoughtful, generous, soulful. But there's a but.
Oh, goodness.
He eats like he was raised by wolves. Fingers in everything. Slurping, ripping food apart with his hands, even when utensils are clearly present. One time, I watched him eat a rotisserie chicken whole like it was a corn on the cob. Okay. When I gently brought it up, he says, I just like to be tactile with my food. I feel more connected to it that way. There are plenty of cultures all around the world where people use their hands to eat their food, and humans evolved to tear and chew, not poke and prod. I love being around him, but I'm starting to dread meals, especially in public. I want to bring him to family dinners, but I just can't. Is this worth trying to change or stay with, Angela?
It's not, because you're not going to change him and you're not going to change. Unfortunately, this is just one of those cases where it's not a good fit. I mean, in my perfect world, because he's so amazing, I'm like, oh no, look past that. But I know that if something bothers you, it just bothers you. And there is no amount of talking yourself into it that is, because I'm telling you, 10 years from now, when all of a sudden you've seen him plant so many gardens and foster all these dogs, 3 times a day, you're going to be watching him eat, and it's going to drive you nuts. So I say, I'm so sorry that this probably I mean, I don't judge it. I'm just saying it's not. You know, the things that bother you in your dating phase will like really bother you when you're married.
This is true.
He's not going to change because people should be able to be themselves.
Okay. It's not often I disagree with you, but I'm going to disagree with you on this one.
Bring it.
At least initially. Because maybe, I mean, he has it right on all the very important things.
Totally.
And I think that you need to, I would give big kudos and credit for, wow, that sounds like someone who is really thoughtful. It surprises me that someone that thoughtful wouldn't think of how his sloppy eating habits would affect others. But it sounds like he would be someone who does have empathy, does have sympathy. And maybe if you said, you know what, here's how this really bothers me. And I would make it one of those sandwiches. Start off with all the positive. These are things, and I could see us, if it is at that stage, I could see us going all the way. But I'm going to tell you right now, this drives me nuts. And then open up also the possibility for him to bring up, hey, in some conversation, what is it about me that you would like to change? But I mean,
your criticism of my eating, that's what bothers me.
But you know what I'm saying, because if he really understood, boy, this is kind of potentially a deal breaker, and you're that important to him, he would change that, because that is changeable.
You're arguing that men are trainable.
I think so.
I don't know that we necessarily are. Some of us are, some of us aren't. And I'm a guy that if I go to Costco very occasionally, I will get one of those rotisserie chickens and it'll just sit right on the seat next to me, and I will just rip that thing and eat it like an animal on the way home. And it's, my secret gross eating.
Were you describing yourself?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. But the thing is, I have misophonia. So if I hear people slurping things, it just triggers rage in my head. And what I'm getting from this lady is disgust.
Yes.
And disgust is a relationship killer. You cannot be disgusted by your partner in some way and have that work, right? Because every meal just, oh my God.
Yeah, and Ursula, keep in mind, I'm fresh from the dating scene, so I've seen a lot of little things, and I'm like, oh, this, I can look past this, and it's like you want to, but you just can't. Like she said, I just can't.
Okay,
Text line, help us.
I can totally understand that also. But I mean, have you given him a full opportunity to make things right? And the reason I say that is, I mean, in your relationship with your husband, were there things that even little things that you're like, hey, this is something that I really appreciate? I think of one thing with Mark. When we first started dating, he would get a card and he would just sign his name, and I actually had to say, you know what? It means so much more to me if you actually write something. Or, hey, he always wants to know, what is it that you want? Sometimes I like surprises. Kind of gently coaxing them along, or maybe just sometimes
if they want to change,
out telling them, hey, this is, and if there are things about him that he has about me that he wants me to change. Yes.
Okay, do you know we have the exact same story? Like, my husband used to just sign the cards, and now I get essays, and I love it.
Yes.
But so I think we can agree on this.
Yes.
If she is able to say, hey, you have a right to eat however you want. I just struggle. No, I just struggle with the noises and blah, blah. I really think this is going to be, is this something you're willing to work on?
Or maybe just a meal divorce. Heard of the sleep divorce? They just eat in separate rooms all the time. What do you think, Nick?
Well, you know what? You can have all the green lights in the world with someone to keep you from moving on, and it seems like it was smooth sailing throughout the ride with this guy. Great with help around the house, sweet with the fam, fun with friends possibly, but I hate to break it to you, if chowing down like a Rottweiler bugs you that much, it's gonna be a last-minute red light when it comes to dinner time. There's a ton of time spent in a relationship eating together, so you better start getting used to it if you're locked in.
That was good.
It was very good. Clever. So bottom line, I think from Ursula and I, if he is willing to change, I do think people can change if they want. It's whether he wants to.
Yeah, and he's got the most important things right. So,
like, Chef would give up the eating in the car on the rotisserie.
Secret eating.
Yes, there you go. Okay, still ahead, we've got Agree to Disagree. This is the Gee and Ursula Show with Angela Poe Russell.
If you need to hire, it seems like the whole process can be exhausting. You search resumes, wait for the right candidates to apply, set up initial interviews. It's a lot of time and work. Well, what if you could meet with qualified candidates for your job the very next day? Now you can with Zip Intro from ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro is super easy to use. You simply pick a time, and it does all the work of finding and scheduling qualified candidates for you. Then you can choose who you want to talk to and meet with great people on back-to-back video calls as soon as the next day. Best of all, you save time and energy.
Try Zip Intro for free right now at this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. Zip Intro. Post jobs today. Talk to qualified candidates tomorrow. Once again, go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
G. Scott here with some special guests, former Seahawks Doug Baldwin and Cliff Averill. Guys, I've been hearing all about Nourishing Champions. Tell us more about it.
So we know the benefits for young people in sports, but we often don't think about the barriers to that access. And one of those barriers is having proper nutrition. And so Nourishing Champions, in partnership with Champions of Change and Safeway, is an effort to address those barriers so that our student athletes have what they need to excel both on the field and in the classroom.
You know, it's extremely important. You don't realize how many students actually are on reduced or even free lunch, and they don't have the opportunity to actually get a meal before practice, before a game. So being able to provide food for them, I think, is extremely important to give them the best opportunity to be able to be the best version of themselves.
And right now, high schools can apply for grants up to $25,000 from Nourishing Champions. Learn how at championsofchangefoundation.org. That's championsofchangefoundation.org.
Spring in Washington. It is practically synonymous with rain. And of course, rain is made up of water, which unfortunately can wreak havoc on your home and your crawl space. So if rain or groundwater makes its way into that crawl space, it can create all kinds of problems, including structural damage or toxic mold. You don't want either of those at your house. Trust me. It's Mike Salk here, and that's why you call Crawl Pros. Crawl Pros will keep your crawl space dry. They can install a sump pump and drainage and reroute that water back out and away from your home. They'll take care of any mold that's been created and even address any plumbing issues you may have in your crawl space. Don't take the risk. The best way to learn if you have any water issues is to have Crawl Pros do what they did at my house. Visit your home and inspect your crawl space for free. Yes, Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to. So if you're worried at all about water damage, mold, insulation issues, critters, anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com to schedule a free inspection.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Christopher Cruz. It's happened again at Newark Liberty Airport. Air traffic controllers lost radar for 90 seconds today, just like they did last week. Reporter Brad Gibson says there are widespread delays now at one of the nation's busiest airports.
The biggest carrier at Newark Liberty Airport is United Airlines, and it's continuing to warn its customers by text messages that delays are not only possible, they are happening. I'm scheduled on a flight to Houston that is now delayed more than 2 hours, and I'm not alone. More than 50 other flights are now delayed in taking off.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said today the experts are on the case.
That glitch was caused by the same telecoms and software issues that were raised last week. Everything went back online after the brief outage, and there was no operational impact. DOT and the FAA are working to address this technical issue tonight.
Representatives of the U.S. and China will meet in Switzerland this weekend to discuss tariffs. President Trump today said he thinks an 80% tariff on imported Chinese goods is about right, down from the current 145%. CBS News business reporter Jason Brooks tells us Kraft Heinz is warning coffee growers to try to keep tariffs from increasing prices further.
The parent company to Maxwell House, Gevalia, and Uban is requesting that its coffee suppliers provide 60 days notice before raising prices, and to only raise prices if tariffs are permanent, and to immediately rescind the price hikes if tariffs are removed. 10% U.S. tariffs cover the major coffee-producing nations of Brazil, Vietnam, Colombia, and Indonesia. Kraft Heinz generated $835 million in revenue from coffee sales in 2024.
President Trump has removed Richard Trumka Jr. from the Consumer Product Safety Commission. In a video, the ousted commissioner says he isn't going quietly.
I've got more work to do here in service of you and your family, and the president does not have the authority to remove me, so I won't take this lying down. See you in court, Mr. President.
The White House today said the president has the right to fire anyone in the executive branch. We're learning more about Pope Leo XIV. CBS's Lana Zak is in his hometown, Chicago.
What we've heard from folks that knew him and know him still is that this wasn't his dream. His dream was to serve his parishioners, to serve the Lord, to serve in ministry, and as an Augustan, to connect with people at an individual level.
A federal judge today ordered Tufts University doctoral student Rumesa Ozturk to be released on bail immediately while she challenges her detention by immigration authorities. Agents detained her after the Trump administration revoked her student visa. The judge said Ozturk had raised very substantial and very significant claims that her First Amendment and due process rights were violated when she was detained. The Dow is off slightly. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A shakeup at Outdoor Co-op REI. The story coming up, but first from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. In Bothell, all lanes just reopened on southbound I-405 at State Route 527. You are still backed up onto I-5, though. Travel time Linwood to Bellevue is still about 37 minutes, about 20 longer than typical. Construction is slowing you down on State Route 18 from the Tiger Mountain Summit up to I-90. And the Ballard Bridge is going to close down over the weekend between 50th and 51st Streets. That's for road work. Traffic brought to you by Kia of Everett. Kia of Everett is the simple, easy, fun way to buy or lease your new Kia. The Putt for Savings event is going on right now. More at KiaofEverett.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. An armed and dangerous man is on the run in Thurston County. More from KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibow.
It's been an active search for 27-year-old Damian Madison after police say a pursuit from Grays Harbor to Thurston County turned violent on Thursday.
Began throwing things at our deputy and the K-9 unit, and then at one point in time began shooting at them with an AR-15.
Sheriff Derek Sanders says Madison fired at least 3 shots from a car before they say he was dropped off on Waldrick Road and then ran into the woods. The driver of his car was arrested.
Deliberations will resume Monday in Christian Sayer's 4th trial. The former owner of the Anchor Pub in Everett is charged with drugging and assaulting women. The Everett Herald was in court when the judge sent jurors home for the weekend yesterday after deliberating for a couple of hours. State troopers say they arrested 2 brothers who led them on separate pursuits on I-90 near Preston this week.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car right now!
Troopers say when they tried to pull over a car for a traffic violation, the driver took off. As they pursued it, dash cam video shows a silver Infiniti getting between the vehicle and the patrol car. Troopers bumped that first car in a pit maneuver, but it keeps going, losing a tire.
It's spinning out. It's in the ditch. Go, go, go.
It stops and troopers arrest the 21-year-old driver. Meantime, troopers spot the Infiniti, and when it stops, they arrest a passenger and the Infiniti driver, who turns out to be the 21-year-old's 18-year-old brother.
They're taking both into custody right now.
Shake-up at REI. Members of the outdoor Kent-based co-op have blocked 3 candidates from its board of directors. Members tell the Seattle Times they want the co-op to return to its values. REI recently received backlash for signing onto a letter that endorsed President Trump's pick for Secretary of the Interior. The company later retracted it and apologized. The main road to the Hoh Rainforest has officially reopened. It was closed for several months because of storm damage. This nearby restaurant owner tells KIRO 7 TV the road is a vital link to tourists.
It's a monetary value, and not only to our business, but to the whole community, because they stop at the grocery store, the gas stations. It affects every business in town.
The state, with the help of donors, stepped in to pay for the repairs when it became uncertain that the federal government would do that. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 70. It's 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Happy Fresh Friday. It is a gorgeous Friday in the Pacific Northwest. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. Angela Poe Russell is in. Look, we're already in the 11 o'clock hour.
I cannot believe it. Time just flies on this show.
It really does. Okay, coming up at 11:30, we have a super special guest. Someone you haven't heard from in a few months now. Our very own Dave Ross, our now retired colleague and friend, is going to join us. Yes, he's going to join us. It's going to be the first time you hear him back on KIRO Radio since he retired. And we're calling him our Catholic insider, a lifelong Catholic. We want to get his thoughts on our new Pope, the first ever American Pope, Pope Leo. So he's going to join us coming up at 11:30. And we just want to find out what he's been up to.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that
so
much.
Yes.
Okay, text us 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. And apparently, if you are watching on YouTube, you saw a whole lot of me. Somehow our cameras are trained on me today.
During the break, yeah. I don't want to change it too because your facial expressions are priceless.
I know. You're seeing what I actually do behind the microphone.
You're just working. She's working. She's locked in.
Exactly. I'm worked. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Angela. Agree to Disagree Now, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
The bishops of Spokane and Seattle have both now said that they will not comply with a brand new state law that requires clergy to be mandatory reporters, including when information is revealed in confession. So Bishop Paul Etienne of Seattle said in a statement, while we remain committed to protecting minors and all vulnerable people from abuse, priests cannot comply with this law if the knowledge of abuse is obtained during the sacrament of reconciliation. He went on, Catholic clergy may not violate the seal of confession or they will be excommunicated from the church. All Catholics must know and be assured their confessions remain sacred, secure, confidential, and protected by the law of the church. Where do we go with that, Ursula? This is a brand new law. The governor signed this on May 2nd.
It is a brand new law, and it is one that was brought up numerous times in the legislature, and I believe the Catholic Church has fought it each and every time, but this time around it had enough votes to pass. And I am honestly, as someone who is Catholic and someone who wishes that there were things that the Catholic Church would change, this would be one of them. And this would be one of them because as a priest, I would think that your first and foremost concern would be to help the vulnerable. And in this case, that is the child. That should be paramount to anything else. And I believe that the person who sponsored this bill, and I don't have the cut readily available, but she explained, Noel Frame was explaining how it could still work within the confines of the Catholic Church, but the Archbishop is saying, no, it's not. And honestly, I feel like this is one of the things where, I mean, if you look at what has happened to the Catholic Church in recent years, I mean, people are dropping out of the church. And this is one of those things that where, I mean, I understand confession, and that is supposed to be something that stays between the priest and the person who's making the confession. But in this case, I think that there's got to be some way that you can work through that to protect the children, which should be paramount, especially when you look at what has happened within the Catholic Church and what priest and priest abuse involving children. I mean, I would think that this would be one of those that the Catholic Church would double down and say, we are just not going to tolerate this.
Yeah, because I would think that a lot of people agree with what you're saying. I love what Pope Leo said. Was it yesterday? We got our new the days are running together.
Yes, just yesterday.
I love what Pope Leo said about remaining close to those who are vulnerable. And to your point, Ursula, in this case, it would be the child. If you're going to oppose it, which in this case we do have some saying, no, if you do this, if you abide by this law, you're going to be excommunicated. That they would at least have more of a reason to give. And the only thing I can think of is if confession is no longer, let's say, immune from like that secrecy, then maybe people wouldn't come forward and there isn't an opportunity to help.
Well, that is the argument, but I don't think it happens that often.
Exactly. I'm like, so if someone comes and said they did this, is the priest going to come out and say, hey, how can I intervene? Does that happen? I'm asking because I don't go to confession. Is there usually a follow-up? Because if there isn't, then this all just feels like, am I allowed to say, it all just feels like BS.
Yeah.
It's like if we say we care about preventing abuse, and, then this to me should be a no-brainer. And it bothers me that they said they feel like they're being targeted. And I was like, no, you're
Trump
just being treated like everyone else.
An investigation into potential religious discrimination by the state. I feel like it's worth pointing out that New Hampshire, West Virginia, and Guam also have laws that do not have an exemption for what's called penitent privilege. Same thing with most states in Australia. Also, the country of Ireland.
But in this country, it's still rare.
It's relatively new. Yes.
It's
but
new.
I mean, like if the entire country of Ireland does not have this exemption, how are you going to oppose this? And it seems like there's a very, very simple solution, right? Because their argument is, if people don't come forward to confess, we cannot save their souls. I don't really care about that as someone who doesn't follow the Catholic Church, but I understand that's important to them.
It is important to them.
So
yes.
you just make this a policy that if information is revealed in confession that we must report, then we are not going to consecrate your confession or accept your confession until you have come forward publicly and admitted to it, right? Because like the priest can say, if I understand correctly, it doesn't sound like you're really willing to make this right. Come back when you want to make it right. If you're actively harming someone, priests, I believe, will tell you that. Why not enact a policy like that?
I mean, you raise good questions. I would love to hear from others. Text us, 888-973-5476, 888-97-3 KIRO. I did find State Senator Noel Frame, the bill sponsor, explaining what the bill requires.
So the bill before us says that if you're a member of the clergy, that you have to report child abuse and neglect when you learn about it, no matter the scenario in which you obtain that information. Similar to the last two versions of this bill, nothing in this bill changes clergy penitent privilege for the point of prosecution. That's not the point of this bill. This bill doesn't attempt to change that. It is merely so that clergy will go to authorities and ask them to check on that kid and find out if they are being abused or neglected.
That was the part that was confusing to me. So if the authorities go and find out the kid is being abused, then prosecution could happen, right? That's the part that
the information
priest does not have to be the one that testifies in court.
They don't out the name of the person.
They just give information like you need to check on, I have information that this is worrisome. This kid could be in danger.
All right,
that's as far as they would have to go.
So here's a question. What is the line between when someone has the freedom to exercise their faith and when you should abide by law? And let's think about cases where people have said, you know what, I'm not feeding my children right now, or I'm not doing. We've seen those cases
people
where
who have like vegan babies, right?
That are and the kids are really sick, and we don't believe in medicine, and so you respect their faith, and the next thing you know, they're being charged with. So I guess I'm just asking all of you who are listening, where is the line for you? Because I think most of us agree.
Well, we all might have different lines as where's the line for the Catholic Church, and right now the Archdiocese of Seattle is saying basically, yeah, they're not going to do it. So they are going to break the law. And what that means is if the law is actually enforced, it means that the dwindling number of priests that we have in Western Washington is going to dwindle even further.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like pretty no-brainer. If your religious beliefs extend to the point where they protect or they perpetuate ongoing harm, then it doesn't seem like you have the right to do that, in my opinion.
Well, someone texted in, I think it was Jesus, who said, well, no one's going to come in and confess if they know they're going to get squealed on. And in that language, I don't know.
Then make it right in the eyes of the law, and then you can make it right in the eyes of God.
I guess what my point is, if they having the opportunity to come forward without being reported, it does create an opportunity for someone to be helped. That's the only argument I can see. But that's why I said, for me, it is a philosophical question around freedom of religion. And when you cross into, we still have laws in this country.
Yeah.
And that's where it's clashing at the moment.
Yep. All right, Seattle is considering this proposal that would allow for 8-foot-tall digital billboards in the downtown area. So these would not be traditional billboards that are, up on posts in the sky. They would be like sidewalk stands, 8-foot-tall LCD screens. Proponents say it could modernize advertising and, bring in new revenue to the city and, for some reason, enhance the city's visual appeal. But, of course, it's controversial. Well, I mean, like, what if you have really
Seattle
sweet
is controversial.
videos?
Okay,
Yeah,
what is the
Angela, where are you
controversy?
at?
What is the controversy? Is there some specific thing?
Well, the council's reviewing the proposal. A lot of people don't like additional advertising. Some
Okay.
people might think, hey, great, brings in more revenue, and, we get to advertise local businesses on them to push people towards it.
Dear
What's the deal?
City Council, I've been living here for 14 years. 14 years. And I am only okay with this if you regulate what is being advertised. I am sick and tired of having certain messages shoved down my throat that I have a right to not be exposed to walking down a public street. So I will point out, I worked in Soto, and out of the office every day, I had to look at naked ladies outside of my window. Anyone going to a Mariners game has to be exposed to naked stripper images on the digital billboard. And I mean, you're laughing,
Not
but
fully naked,
no,
right?
it really isn't
I'm
funny
smiling.
to me.
No, I'm smiling. I didn't
mean
realize. I didn't realize that's what you were talking. The lusty lady thing.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me so angry because the opponents of what I'm saying argue, well, we have a right to do that. Well, I have a right not to look. I have a right to not, because in this case, I can't not look. You're literally walking down the street.
Yes.
And I have a right to not have that shoved in my face and not have to explain that to my kids if I'm walking to T-Mobile Park.
Yes.
And so if this is another case where people can just put anything on a billboard, then it is a hard no for me. A hard no. Oh, gosh. Okay.
No, I love it. No, I love it. And I love the passion.
In Seattle, where nudity is legal, but Angela wants to ban the billboards with people with bikinis.
Well, yes. Well, no, this is more than bikinis, what they're putting on there. Okay.
Oh,
this is
half-length.
more than the bikinis. It's nothing I would want my kids to see. I don't even want to see it.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I hear ya.
can we, again, have some boundaries?
I'm not as concerned about the nudity, although if it got to that point, yeah, I would be. But I'm more concerned about just the distraction. You said 8-foot tall digital billboards.
Think of it like a sandwich sign, except 8 feet tall and digital. About the height of a bus stop. A bus stop shelter.
Yeah. I mean, a bunch of people texting in right now are bringing up great points. They're probably going to get tagged, more things to get tagged, more things to get vandalized. You lived here how long?
14 years.
I've lived here 30 years. I say no.
You say no?
Yeah.
Do we need? Yeah, I agree. You know
Do we
what?
need another distraction? Do we need more garbage for the visual?
Absolutely
pollution?
not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Like when we can be micro-targeted with ads any time of the day, no matter where we are, even if we're asleep. No, we don't need more ads. Okay, I got to move on to a wedding trend.
I'm just laughing because someone said, you better not take your kids to Paris,
The
Angela.
funny thing is, I have taken them to
Exactly.
Paris, and I do not recall seeing that kind of stuff. Now, it was years ago. We saw great, museums and things like that.
To your point, though, Angela, you make a distinction between nudity and sexualized nudity or near nudity, correct?
Nudity and sexualized nudity.
Uh-oh.
Yes, absolutely. Some of this, basically, there was one ad where, and this is right outside the office, and this lady had her legs wide open, and she's like, come hit my target.
No. Oh, no.
And this is like a huge display on a city street.
Yeah, that's just
like, come on,
inappropriate.
guys.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah, okay. I need to move on now.
Yeah, you do. We all suddenly like,
winning trends.
So my point is, if this makes you uncomfortable, imagine what it's like walking by.
Yeah, with your kids. Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
All right. So wedding trends. This one's for men. There are more men that are embracing makeup for weddings. What do you guys think about that? Makeup for the groom, Ursula?
Why not? I don't. Okay, now Chef is blinking.
Not traditional.
It's not traditional, but you also know that you are going to be getting lots of pictures taken. And if someone feels like, hey, I want to enhance a little bit, it's not going to. If your bride is okay with it and you're good with it, that's all that matters.
It's not going to turn out well. So nobody who wears makeup for the first time looks good in makeup.
If they're going to do it for the first time on the wedding?
Yeah, of course. Like what?
No,
of course.
you need to do a
The wife would
practice
be
run.
like, honey, you need some foundation. Let's get you a little blending going on
Well,
here.
you know, Pete Hegseth has kind of been catching flack because of
He's
his
been
whole
wearing
use
makeup
of
for
makeup.
years.
Well, a lot of
JD
news
Vance wears-
anchors have
yes,
done that.
yes.
Here, I just worry this is another byproduct of social media where men are now expected to have their 8-pack abs and, women have these crazy eyebrows because social media said it's the trend. I just worry this isn't being driven by us, but by a machine.
Oh.
That what we are is not enough.
Yeah, can we at least have one gender that doesn't have completely unrealistic body expectations? Just at least one. Or maybe two?
That is never going to happen. But yeah, I think you should. It's always a good idea to do a practice run on the makeup thing before a big event. You don't want to try it out for the first time. I will be honest, now that we have cameras everywhere, now I can't. I do wear makeup now on a regular basis.
Oh, I thought about it this morning. I was like, I guess I should at least put on some lipstick. We got cameras in here. But my thing is, you as a listener or as a TV viewer, are you ready to see folks without makeup? Do you want it? Like, are you... Because Pamela Anderson at the Met Gala, went no makeup.
Oh, yeah.
Remember,
She's
Alicia
been doing
Keys
that.
went no makeup.
She's been doing that for a while.
And you have some people that are like, yeah, let's go. And others are just like, no, you need to put some makeup on.
Yeah, no, definitely, because then we can tell who's actually attractive. There's a lot of people be hiding. They'd be hiding behind the war paint.
Have y'all ever seen someone, like you've only seen them with makeup, and then one day you see them without, and you're like...
Yes.
It's like seeing a guy without a beard all of a sudden. Whoa.
Here's the problem with social media, though.
Yeah.
Do you all know? Okay, I just discovered this. There are these apps where you can make your nose thinner. You can make your cheekbones higher. I didn't realize you could easily do that with a tap of a screen.
Oh, yeah. Very easily. Okay, still ahead, our guest, Dave Ross, is going to come back. He's joining us, and we're going to talk about the new Pope, and we're going to find out what Dave's been up to since he's been retired. This is the Gee and Ursula Show with Angela Poe Russell.
This hour is brought to you by DUI Heroes.
White smoke above the Sistine Chapel.
History is happening.
Habemus Papam. We have a pope.
The first American pope to lead the Roman Catholic Church.
Local coverage of the biggest stories at home and around the world.
Cardinal Robert Prevost of Chicago. He is taking the name of Pope Leo XIV.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, the KIRO Newsradio app, and read the latest at mynorthwest.com.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See with the full details and disclaimers.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And if you love animals, you're part of our world. Humane World for Animals. The end of animal cruelty.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
At the Harnish Auto family, people matter isn't just a saying. It's how they do business. For over 40 years, their dealerships, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Volkswagen, Subaru of Puyallup, plus Chevrolet and Kia of Everett, have built a stellar reputation on trust, respect, and great deals. From supporting local charities to making sure every customer drives away happy, they're here for you. Stop by any of their dealerships or visit HarnishAutoFamily.com and find your next car today. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Stylin'. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
Carter Subaru wants to buy your car. Carter Subaru will buy your vehicle for top dollar, even if you're not in the market for a new one. And when you are ready to buy a new vehicle, your drive begins with savings at Carter Subaru. Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard.
Hey folks, John Curley here. One of the best home comfort inventions of recent time, mini split systems. Now you can enjoy efficient heating and cooling while saving energy and reducing utility bills with personalized room comfort. Call my friends at Home Home Comfort Alliance for a free consultation, and for a limited time, get 18 months same as cash financing on all qualified systems. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, call the Comfort People. Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Unleash your best self with a hot spring spa from Olympic Hot Tub, featuring the Freshwater IQ Salt System, healthy saltwater soaks, and a tub that tests your water. Save up to $3,800. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. The Mariners begin a 3-game homestand against the Toronto Blue Jays tonight, and typically Canadians swoop down to Seattle for this, but tourism is down due to the trade war.
For Robert Gallant, President Donald Trump's comments about making his country the 51st state sealed it.
I have to put my country over my team and really send a message with my money.
More than 40 Seattle businesses are offering Canadians who show an ID 30% discounts as an incentive to visit. This after border crossings are down more than 50%, and businesses near the border are hurting for tourism. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Washington State is suing the Trump administration over an executive order declaring a national energy emergency. State Attorney General Nick Brown.
When in fact, no such emergency exists.
Casey Sixkiller is director of the Department of Ecology. The order allows environmental protections and reviews to be loosened.
We've lived with the damage caused by their absence. When rivers caught fire, when air turned toxic and made kids sick.
14 other states have joined the lawsuit. American Cardinals are talking about the election of Chicago-born Pope Leo XIV. This cardinal, also from Chicago.
I felt comfortable saying to Pope Leo, from one South Sider of Chicago to another, I promise you my respect, my fidelity, and my love.
A U.S.-based aid group closes its soup kitchens in Gaza. CBS's Linda Gradstein.
The World Central Kitchen was serving more than 130,000 meals per day and baking 80,000 loaves of bread in Gaza over the past weeks, but said it was forced to suspend operations as it has no food to cook.
Israel is blocking aid, saying Hamas has been stealing it. Pro-Palestinian protesters arrested after vandalizing a University of Washington building this week are getting support.
Demonstrators want charges dropped and suspensions lifted against 21 student protesters arrested Monday night. They are still calling for the UW to divest in Boeing because of its military contracts, and they want protests like this one to continue until the violence in Gaza ends.
As the genocide in Gaza escalates, the Palestinian people call on everyone across the world to escalate their protests.
James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
On Wall Street, the Dow is down 90 points, NASDAQ up about 2. From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, in Seattle, a disabled vehicle is blocking a lane on I-5 southbound near North 85th Street. In Bothell, all lanes have reopened on southbound I-405 at State Route 527, and your backup is starting to break up. Travel time Linwood to Bellevue is 26 minutes, still about 10 longer than typical. Construction has you slow on State Route 18 from the Tiger Mountain Summit to I-90. And a reminder, the Ballard Bridge is closing between 50th and 51st Streets this weekend for road work. Traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Partly sunny skies today with highs near 70. It's 60 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
I love it. This is the Gee and Ursula Show. Gee is out today. Angela Poe Russell is in. And of course, we are going to have ABBA music when we're going to say hello to our friend and now retired colleague, Dave Ross. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Ursula. How are you?
Oh, my gosh, we miss you. We miss you terribly.
Just talk to us.
Yes, really. Okay, Dave, we first thought of you, and in fact, listeners texted in and said, we want to hear what does Dave Ross think? Lifelong Catholic, what does he think about the new Pope? So we all were introduced to Pope Leo XIV yesterday, first Pope born in the United States. Where were you?
Well, I'm here in Connecticut right now, where I have a grandchild who actually goes to a Catholic school, and yesterday was Grandparents' Day. And so that's why Patty and I were here, was to participate in Grandparents' Day. As you can imagine, all the kids at the school immediately were excited that there was a new pope. My granddaughter came home saying, "Have you heard? It's Pope Leo. It's Pope Leo. I have a little friend named Leo." So they were they were quite excited. Yes.
So how do you feel? I mean, we were all surprised yesterday. So we were doing this on the air live, and there were other names, as you know, Dave, that really popped up, and Pope Leo, or this 69-year-old from Chicago, was not on the short list, at least that most people were looking at.
Yeah, well, I mean, I find it refreshing that there is a pope who speaks fluent English and was born in America. I did not expect anything like that. I thought they were going to go back to something more traditional, maybe an Italian pope. It was interesting, though. I've been reading up a little bit about him, and he began by wearing the red cape, and also began by speaking Italian. So two very traditional things, right? But I also understand that, of course, he was elevated to cardinal by Pope Francis, and seems to follow most of Francis's desired reforms in the Catholic Church. Things like making sure that it's more open to participation by certain leadership is open to participation by women, for example. Now, I'm not talking about women priests, but women being in decision-making positions, to make sure that they are not shy about criticizing anything having to do with mass deportations of immigrants, for example. The Catholic Church has a huge base of immigrants in the United States. And I know my parish, St. James, in Seattle, is certainly active when it comes to helping to resettle refugees, helping them learn the language, et cetera, et cetera. So I expect the Catholic Church to remain firm on those things. I don't expect to see, for example, female priests. I don't expect to see gay priests. He may continue with I think Pope Francis is open to, quote, blessing gay unions, but I don't see that part of church philosophy changing at all.
Yeah, I don't know if you were listening to the show, Dave, but we just finished up a spirited agree to disagree. And we talked about this new law in Washington State making priests mandatory reporters in confessions, and what a difficult thing this is when you have freedom of religion and also this concern about childhood abuse. How is that sitting with you, this new law, as a Catholic?
Well, I mean, this has come up before, and the Catholic Church's position has not changed. Confession is a confidential thing, and priests are not going to report. Now, there's reporting, and there's reporting. Priests are human beings too, and I assume if a familiar voice shows up in the confessional and the priest says, "This is awkward," then there are ways, short of formally reporting, to let's say usher the problem employee out the door. But you're not going to. I mean, this goes back in Catholic tradition a long, long way. The idea of the privacy of the confessional. So, at least in terms of the church's official stand, I don't see them changing that at all.
Well, and the Seattle Archbishop has actually confirmed what you just said, which is that Paul Atanias has said that they are not going to follow the law. So, in essence, they're going to break this brand new law, and it'll be interesting to see how it is enforced then on both sides.
I can say that the church is certainly really, especially in Seattle, is really sensitive to this issue. The last thing they want is a problem employee having any contact with children. I can tell you that.
So you were talking about some of the positions that Pope Leo may take, and there's a lot we don't know about him, but we did at the beginning of our show, Chef was able to find a video that honestly I think we are the only ones who have aired here locally, where Pope Leo over 13 years ago was talking about, and he talked about same-sex marriage. And in essence, do you mind if I actually play a little bit of it for you? So in essence, he basically said that he condemned what he called the homosexual lifestyle and the redefinition of marriage, saying it is at odds with the gospel. And he blamed mass media for making Catholic pastors seem cruel. And again, this was issued by the Catholic News Service back in 2012.
The sympathy for anti-Christian lifestyle choices that mass media fosters is so brilliantly and artfully ingrained in the viewing public that when people hear the Christian message, it often inevitably seems ideological and emotionally cruel by contrast to the ostensible humaneness of the anti-Christian perspective.
And in the video, he was showing clips from 2 sitcoms that feature same-sex couples, and he says he was really calling, again, in 2012, calling for new efforts to counter the mass media-produced distortions, he said, of religious and ethical reality. Have you seen anything in your readings and in your investigation of this new pope, whether that position has changed?
Yeah, well, first of all, my investigation of this new pope goes back maybe like 2 hours.
I know,
so,
me too. Yeah, exactly. We're all trying to learn.
I know nothing about him. But there's nothing surprising to me at all about that. I mean, Pope Francis is famous for saying in that one offhand comment, "Who am I to judge?" I know that, for example, my own parish welcomes gay parishioners, but like I said, you're not. I don't think you're going to see gay marriage in the Catholic Church. That's a very sensitive issue, and I think that most congregations would probably rebel at that. On the other hand, I don't see, for example, gay people being denied communion or gay couples being denied entry to the church. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen either. But the Catholic Church by nature is a very conservative institution. That's electing popes the same way for 2,000 years. So I just don't think you're going to see, rainbow posters on the church doors. No.
Well, we're getting a lot. It's so good to hear from you, Dave.
Yes.
And we're getting so many texts from people just saying, Dave sounds relaxed, must be enjoying retirement. And a lot of people saying how much they miss you.
Yes.
They miss
That's
you. They hope
Including
you're
all of
enjoying
us.
yourself.
Yes. So what has been your favorite thing about being retired, Dave?
Being able to get up at 7:30 instead of 3. That's one of the favorite things. But I will say I miss the companionship of course, of you, of Gee, of Angela, of all my friends there. And we actually have the old morning news crew has a little text group where we keep up with each other on what we've been doing. And I think we're doing okay. There is life after the fortune and fame of KIRO Newsradio. And,
I'm glad you're enjoying it. You
For
know what
sure.
I mean? Like, it's just
those
so
are-
important. Like, as much as we value you and care about you, value enough to go enjoy other things.
Yes.
Right?
And those grandkids are so blessed. And Dave, I know you enjoy every single second that you spend with them and your wife and your daughters.
Absolutely.
And we're going to have a little party coming up, and I'm going to make sure that you know about it because I want to see you face to face. We miss you.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Ursula. Thanks, Angela.
Dave, thank you so much.
I think TMZ put it well. No booty in the bubbles. Is that the way it goes?
What the heck? Chef!
Wow. That was Chef saying hi.
Really appropriate, Chef. Thank you.
Did not know that was coming, Dave. Sorry about that. Okay, we love you. Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Still ahead, we hear you and our words to live by. This is the Gee and Ursula Show.
I've always been a super athletic guy, but after I turned 40, I noticed I was slowing down. Instead of hitting the gym after work, I spent my evenings on the couch with a bag of chips. I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and when I did try to work out, I ran out of energy right away. One of my buddies suggested I book a free testosterone check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that low T doesn't just impact how guys perform in the bedroom. I worked with a provider to create my custom treatment plan, and today I'm feeling stronger than ever. Last week, I even set a new PR at the gym. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Driving your brand new car is incredibly fun, but what about the buying process? We are Kia of Everett, and we believe that when you buy a car from us, it should be simple, easy, and fun. It's golf weather again. So May is Putt for Savings Month, and you're invited. Come take a test drive in your favorite new Kia, and if you love it, make a 10-foot putt to get up to $500 off the price. Because buying a car should be fun. Kia of Everett. Simple, easy, fun.
Some restrictions apply. Visit KiaofEverett.com for details.
Ivers has opened its new Clam Digger Cafe on Pier 54 in the new Seattle Waterfront Park. Order off the menu, featuring new shareables like pretzel and beer cheese bites, crab and shrimp empanadas, a fried clam po' boy, or Ivers margarita prawns. You can still get Ivers favorites, including fish and chips, calamari, Seattle's favorite clam chowder, grilled salmon, or halibut. Try Ivers' new Clam Digger Cafe on Pier 54. Details at ivers.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-917-4635, and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-917-4635. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-917-4635 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-917-4635.
Hey, it's Doctors King and Copstein from K2 Vision. If you're at the stage where you need readers, whether you've had LASIK or not, it may be time to consider K2 Vision RLE. I tell my King LASIK patients, laser vision correction won't solve the eventual need for reading glasses due to an aging, dysfunctional lens.
But K2 Vision RLE will. It's not a question of if your lens becomes dysfunctional, it's when. At that point, you'll need reading glasses and could benefit from refractive lens exchange, a permanent solution to distance, intermediate, and near vision problems. In other words, no glasses, no contacts, and no readers.
And no cataracts.
Exactly. After K2 Vision RLE, you will never develop a cataract.
K2 Vision RLE is quick and painless.
And because we've performed over 100,000 procedures and followed the outcomes, we have the experience to know if RLE is right for you.
Schedule your free Zoom consultation today at k2visionrle.com and let's get your vision feeling young again, permanently.
Go to k2visionrle.com.
At the Harnish Auto family, people matter isn't just a saying, it's how they do business. For over 40 years, their dealerships, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Volkswagen, Subaru of Puyallup, plus Chevrolet and Kia of Everett, have built a stellar reputation on trust, respect, and great deals. From supporting local charities to making sure every customer drives away happy, they're here for you. Stop by any of their dealerships or visit HarnishAutoFamily.com and find your next car today. Harnish Auto Family. People matter.
At Carter Subaru, your drive begins with savings. With over 300 new vehicles in stock, shop your way, in-store or from home. Plus, when you buy from Carter, you support our community. Visit Carter Subaru in Shoreline and Ballard today. And with that, it is time to wrap up our Fresh Friday edition of the Gee and Ursula Show with Angela. It's been such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you. It's been a blast. Yeah.
So much fun. And I was a little bit distracted because Chef gave us a heads up on one particular text, and I'm debating whether we read it or not.
Come on.
I think let's go for it. We can
Okay,
do
we're
it.
going to go for it. It's a Fresh Friday anyway. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and start?
You want me to
No,
start?
no,
Okay.
go ahead, start
I'll
with
just
the-
start.
yes,
We were talking
yeah.
about sharing stories about your mom. Christopher said, my mom's memorial is tomorrow. She passed away March 10th, and this is my first Mother's Day without her since 1975. May she rest in peace.
And Christopher, we are sending love to you on this very difficult time, and your mom knows she was loved. Jason in West Seattle, my mom has always taught me to smile at others. Life is beautiful. Share my joy of life with those I encounter every day.
Love that. Okay, so this is the one, Christy and Kent. Here's the alert. When I was 16 years old, Sir Mix-a-Lot was popular. His song Posse's on Broadway was the song. We were at a party and there were 3 handsome boys I was trying to impress. We were playing the tape and my mom runs in, starts spinning on the floor on her back, singing my P word, not posse, is on Broadway. I was mortified. I left and also left my tape behind.
That's a mom who takes embarrassing your child
You know
to
what?
brand new heights.
But you will never forget that. Oh my God. Okay, Robin Puyallup. What I would like to add to all women out there is that cancer screening is so important. My mom was uncomfortable after her first mammogram, and as a result, she didn't get any more, not even when she got a lesion. The estimate is that she had a curable form of breast cancer for at least 10 years, but by the time of diagnosis, she was already at stage 4 and it had spread. 11 years later, I miss my mom dearly, especially when these types of conversations come up. I also have moments of anger that had she gotten checked, she would still be with us today. No child should have to lose a parent to a curable cancer.
Rob, I'm so sorry and grateful that you're using this time to tell other
Yes.
mothers to, go get the screening. So thank you for doing that.
Dave says, I'm getting all teary-eyed listening to this. I'm 47. My mom has been gone for 20 years now, and I wish I'd heard she had been around for her grandkids. All she ever wanted was my kids. She has 2 of the most greatest grandkids that anyone could ask for.
Scenarios. My boyfriend's wonderful, but he eats like a starving werewolf. Jess in Utah says, OMG, my best friend, not boyfriend, slurps and chews loudly to the point that I'll leave the room. Also, Ursula, you and G helped me with my scenario of the stinky feet that offended our cats. We're still together, and being honest with him was the best advice. He and I learned how to be open about things that might be feeling hurtful. So see, you changed lives.
No, we do.
That was like
totally
4.5
remember.
years
It
ago.
was toward the beginning of our show, and we're like, is this for real? And then she showed us pictures and everything, and they're still together.
See? Just by having a conversation, you always advocate for that, Ursula.
Oh, my goodness. Mother's Day, Kevin in Seattle says, I have a clear memory of my mom sitting with me on the kitchen floor, teaching me how to tie my shoes. She is gone now, and that was 67 years ago. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much. We're reading all of your text messages, and continue to share. If you didn't get a chance to call in today, and I want to thank all of those of you who did call in. That was a really fun segment. If you didn't get a chance, please go onto our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page, and you can put your messages about mom over there as well. Now for our words to live by. There is something about losing a mother that is permanent and inexpressible, a wound that will never quite heal. As many of you shared, it feels like yesterday, even though it might have been 10, 20, 30 years ago. For me, it's been just a year and a half. Yeah, and I want to say to all moms out there, happy Mother's Day. I hope you have a day of peace, one that is filled with love, and I hope you are spoiled rotten. And for my own mom, I just want to say thank you. She raised me well.
She did.
She did her best. We were all flawed people, and she would be the first to admit her own flaws. But I learned so many lessons from her, one of them being the joy of singing, and the other one being the joy of life and showing love.
What a legacy.
Thank you so much, Angela. Really, I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Chef, thank you. And Nick, take us out.
You know, at last, it's time again to take a couple days away as we're slowly breaking into summer early from the gray. So I'll take a chance to shout out all the moms for what's ahead, whether breakfast served in bed or spa days taking stress to shed. But for moms who are coming down from Canada for baseball games, there's no guarantee the other moms will act so tame. So try to play nice out there, ladies. Find your inner Dave Ross, okay?
There you go. Nick, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great music as always. And thanks to Dave Ross for joining us. So
awesome.
Fun to hear his voice. Okay, Jake and Spike are coming up next. Stay with us.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
Get ready for Camping World's Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th. Get the highest value for your RV guaranteed during the biggest RV trade event of the year. Shop the best RV deals in America with new RVs starting as low as $92 a month. Get ready for the holiday weekend with up to 45% off grills and 25% off product installation. Plus, we'll have free hats, free propane refills, free food, and fun for the whole family. Don't miss the incredible Red, White, and New Trade event, May 15th through the 18th at your local Camping World.
See you with the full details and disclaimer.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Worried about your battery and the heat? We get it. You don't want to get stranded somewhere with a car that feels like an oven. We've got you covered at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Our free battery testing and charging service can help. And if you need a battery, we'll help you find a new one, no problem. Power through with free battery testing and charging at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register,